2,000 players, $32,000, one winner. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Deadman Spring 2018. Woo!
So Deadman originally was just the top 2,000 players forced to fight, and eventually there would be one player left standing and he would be the winner. That's not really very fair, given that a player could die at any given moment and they'd be immediately eliminated, but it was fun to watch.
The new Deadman format has consistently evolved over the years that we've been running it, and it's been our goal to try and make a fair tournament for everyone, whether that's solo players or clans.
The most exciting thing for me is going to be the 1v1s towards the end. It's the first time we've taken the last 128 players and pitted them in 1v1 battles. Seeing how that's going to happen and who the final winner is going to be is going to be the best part by a long way.
Starting off on the left-hand side, we have Manked Up Mage. We have MMORPG, the man with the juice.
This season of Deadman, I have put in a lot of hours into the tournaments in order to get good stats and good gear. I have a fighting chance, I think, to get to the final area, and I really hope to do some good content on the 1v1s.
They've come in today with very, very high hopes of going really far, and we'll talk about some clans a bit later. Looking in Falador right now.
Robert, one of the true OGs when it comes to Deadman, playing since the very first season, providing some of the best Deadman streams of all time.
I've played every single Dead mode from the start, every tournament I've been in, every season, and the original, of course. Just love the game mode. If you're dying before me, I'm progressing further. I might not have to use all my food getting into the final 128.
Last but not least, we have Sick Nerd.
I mean, if these clans will find each other at the same time, it's going to be an absolute cluster as well. We see a lot of deaths being happened. Let's go back to Anakal now as well and see if they've taken the defense. Oh, wow. Whoa. Look at the size of them compared to everyone else. That's actually ridiculous.
Like we saw Robert doing it fairly successfully. He's still up on stage.
He's still alive. So is Manx.
He's still alive.
We have a splice drop actually dropping in 5 seconds now.
There it is. That animation's absolutely fantastic.
It looks beautiful.
So it started out as a community idea. We actually had the entire team in a meeting for several hours. The supply crates came up and we all thought, like, you know what, this is actually amazing. Like, this has so much potential. This could be absolutely incredible.
He's got to make it past the Mammoths first. Can he get it? Go on. Oh my God, he's done it!
This tournament should be better than any tournament we've had before. The fact that it's now a 1v1 when you get down to 128 gives everyone like a massive chance. All you need to do is survive that long.
Once you secure your place in the final 128, it comes down to your solo PvP skills to be able to make your way through a knockout tournament and reach the final.
Anybody could log in, anybody could try, and anybody could win.
The thing that makes Deadman work, I think, is that it's an iterative process. Every time it changes, every time they experiment and they try new things, and always in a dialogue with the people who are actually playing. And that, I think, is its greatest strength, because people talk about trying to keep games fresh for their audience, and the thing is that, like, they're always building this game.
In 2018, we just want to make Deadman bigger and better. We're going to listen to the players, get their feedback, and then keep iterating it to make it the game the players want.
Predictions, guys. Do you reckon Manta Mage is going to go all the way?
I've got to root for him just because he's on stage. He's done so well to get as far as he has.
I think trying to categorise Deadman as an esport is an interesting question because it doesn't fit the standard genre. You know, it's long play style over short-based games.
Deadman is something completely unique on its own, unmatched in the world. It's incredible, and it has so much more potential. I believe we're only at the very beginning of it.
Like any mistakes, catch the freezes.
It's a 29 barrage with this.
Oh, wow, he's doing amazingly well. Can he win it? Can he more in last press?
Stay with us for the point.
Studio with an even more beautiful audience. Thank you so much for attending, guys. Really appreciate it. Come on, give yourself a round of applause. You can hear me. Come on. There you go. We have such an exciting evening ahead of us. We have players on stage to introduce. changes to talk about this past week to talk about. But before we get anywhere, introductions are necessary. So I'll be your host, Mod Archie. Joined with me is Mod Aiza.
Hey.
We've got Skidler and
Good to see
Ian.
everybody.
They'll be your casting talent for the evening, so get used to their voices. And I'll be jumping back on the sofas when we get to the 1v1 section. So guys, real quick, what are you most looking forward to tonight?
I think for me personally, sorry to just jump the gun there.
That's all right.
It's going to have to be the spectator changes that we've had. Huge shout out to everyone in the team that has been working on that, but a special thank you to Mod Atlas and Mod Ed for developing our in-house system. We've got a brand new spectator system. I've said system way too many times now, but we're going to be looking at, when we get to the 1v1s, that's when it's really going to show. Yes, we've got the heat map, but an incredible UI overhaul that's really going to improve the viewer experience for the players, for the people back at home.
Something that I've personally always wanted to see in the Deadman mode tournaments, especially now we have the addition of the 1v1s rather than just the big cluster at the end, is the ability to view each player's inventory. So when we're watching these 1v1s, we don't just have to watch what their character's doing, we can actually see where they're clicking, what their thought process is, how they're trying to outplay their opponents, and I think that's just going to be so much better as a viewer.
Yeah, and for me personally, it's about the narrative, the story that gets told throughout. The whole week, clans have been preparing for this moment. Solo players have been as well. An 8-day tournament, unlike the previous ones. And I just look forward to seeing how it all unveils and what happens.
So, very fortunately, we reached out to Torvesta, and he was able to make a great video introducing what Deadman was. If you missed that, a very, very quick recap. Essentially, we invite anybody and everybody to hop into the Deadman worlds, play your best. We then invite the top 2,000 players to compete in this tournament with a $32,000 prize pool, 20,000 of that going to the winner. And they can compete over a series of days. This time around, it was 8 days, plenty of time to prepare, gather their supplies, their gear, their weapons, strategize amongst each other, all of that. And it all comes down to this moment. We have just a couple of hours pushing them into areas where they have to fight to survive, eventually moving into 1v1s, structured into, obviously, a finale of a 1v1 where we'll have a winner crowned. So a very exciting evening ahead of us indeed. Right, so what else has changed this time around?
We've made quite a lot of changes. Quite a lot of smaller changes, actually, because I think when we look back at the previous tournament, it was agreeable with everyone in the team that actually it was probably one of the best, if not the best, that we've done by far. So we didn't want to do too many drastic changes. Most notably, I think, when we get to the 1v1 stage of the final 1-2-8, we're gonna take a short break where we give players 5 minutes to access bank chests. In that time, they're going to be able to reconfigure their gear, their supplies, change their spell books. At the same time, in the back end, our team, the anti-cheating team, are going to be making sure that anyone that has made it to the final 1-8 have got there legit, and that the final players are actually going to be there for a good game.
I'm looking forward to seeing how many players actually engage with the spellbook swap, or the ability to change their spellbook at the bank during that 5 minutes. Do you think we're going to see a lot of people maybe in the massing area with Ancients and then swapping out for more food, fewer switches, and then maybe going on to Lunas for Vengeance?
It's a good question. If you're a really skilled Tribrid and you know how to DD, Death Dot, of course, you stand a really, really good chance.
Yeah,
if you're not
for
so confident in your PKing abilities, I would personally go with a Ranger with Vengeance, of course, the Suffering playing a big part, and we can get into strategies a little bit more. But in just a minute here, we're going to head over and interview our players on stage. So before we hop to that, let's talk about their week coming up. You know what? We'll start with, actually, you know what? We should probably let the highlights reel do it for us. That could probably explain better. So yeah, let's throw it to VT.
Oh boy! Yes! That is what I'm looking for. Feels good, man. Yes, feels fucking great, in fact. Give me that beautiful thing, and straight to the deposit box we go. What's in the fucking box? House.
Oh my god. Good fight, dude. I'm sorry. I killed Curtis, man. I'm such a dick.
Okay, guys, we're here joined with our players on stage. That was a brief highlight of this past week for them, doing a better explanation than I could with words, I think. Now, on my left rather here, we have Boikain PB. Some of you may not know who he is. This is a Finnish legend in our game, creating some of the most entertaining PKing videos dated all the way back to like 10 years ago. We found out he's actually playing Deadman and representing his clan, Fools. Boik, how are you feeling going into this tournament?
Oh man, it's been so much fun. Like, I don't even know. Thank you for the invite.
Do you have any words you'd like to say to your Finnish viewers rooting for you?
Seppo vois vähän rauhoittua sen viinankaan ja torilla tavataan.
Right. Thank you very much, and best of luck to you, Boikain PB. Thank you. Moving on to my left here, we have Skillspecs. Skillspecs, you are a fan favorite, aren't you? You've had an incredible week this week. This Deadman, I've seen more effort from you than I think I've seen in any other previous season. How was the motivation coming along this tournament?
I've definitely enjoyed it. A lot of motivation, a lot of grinding, just to die.
He brought his entire desktop setup to the hotel and was playing all night last night. He's got a really impressive setup, the full Carols, Darox, Rune Pouch. Are you playing with a team this time?
Sorry, what was that, Chris?
Are you playing with a team this time?
I am. This time I'm rolling with Lit. So hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I can get into the 1v1s, because as long as I get into the 1v1s, hopefully we can bring a win. Maybe not.
Maybe not! Feeling very confident, Skillspecs is. Okay. Curtis, I think coincidentally, are you in the same team as Skillspecs?
I am, but we've just got split into different areas, so hopefully me and Jay survive and get to have a nice 1v1 fight. That'll be sweet.
Now, what have you done in preparation from this tournament after your unfortunate defeat last tournament?
So last tournament, the mistake I made was rolling solo. I was rolling with Sicknerd and Rexy. Both of them got taken down, and it was just me to run into the final area. And I got taken down instantly as I tried to run into it. So this time I'm within a squad to hopefully stay alive more than last time.
And are you looking forward to playing the next season? Have you begun to strategize yet?
The next season looks really, really good. I've been playing a lot of my tournaments without swapping, so I think I'm going to have an advantage on that just because I know the methods of how to make money. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I advise a lot of people to try it out. It's going to be really good.
Thank you, Curtis. And last but not least, we have the Deadman winner himself, Manked Up Mage. What have you done with the 20 grand you won last tournament? Did you get a new PC?
That's pretty much it. Just got a new PC, and yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
What's it been like since winning that? Are you feared in game? Do people walk up to you and go, I don't want to fight that guy, he's the Deadman winner?
People seem to be telling a lot faster. I don't know if that's because they've become better or what, but it could be that, yeah.
And how's it been this time? I've seen some fearlessness out of you, killing these poor level 30s. You killed Curtis. He sat next to you on the Deadman stage, and you killed him in the tournament.
I mean, if I see someone and they've got some nice loot, I'll go for them, you know. It's no preference in game, you know. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And going into next season similarly, are you able to share any strategies, anything like that?
I think a lot of ults will be helpful. It'll be a very different season, but it should be a lot of fun. And a lot more PKs, I think, so it should be good.
We're really looking forward to the next season. We'll get to those changes in a minute. But for the time being, guys, I think we've actually kept you waiting long enough. It's about time we go live into the Deadman Spring 2018 finale.
What an incredible audience we have this evening.
As always, welcome to Deadman Spring 2018. One thing that we didn't actually get to do in the build-up talking about Deadman mode this time was predictions. So why don't we do that now? What do you think, Aiza?
Okay, I'm going to say that on the stage, I believe that Book is going to take the win.
Yeah?
Yeah, confident.
Going all the way?
I think from what I've heard, the information that we've been given, and from what we've had backstage from Mod Sween, who's been doing a little bit of digging for us here and there.
Yep.
Fools seem like they're a really solid unit. They've been doing a lot this tournament, and I think that's going to help them.
What about yourself, Elliot?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when we're talking predictions, you can break that down, obviously. You've got teams, so you can have team predictions, and then you can have individuals within those teams as predictions as well. Obviously, Buck, Gillenor's strongest jawline, as we saw on stage on the left-hand side. What a beautiful man he is. Part of Fools, probably one of the most prolific clans. We see them every time in Deadman, doing extremely well.
Yeah, just to expand on that, so Fools, basically, for those that don't know, are an exclusively Finnish clan. They have over 100 members, and they have been dominating multi for 10+ years now. Their leader, Iomeri, has led them into victory countless times as other huge clans such as Rot. And this time, they are going for the win.
Yeah.
So the whole week they've been preparing by locking down certain pieces of content, taking out Monkey Madness Island, for example, so they could chin there, they could get their range levels up, and they can obviously, as well as that, unlock Monkey Madness too. As a whole, I think Fools, you're right, have a really good chance of getting into that 1v1 stage. Buak himself, we haven't seen him in a 1v1 situation for quite a while, as he hasn't made videos in a long time. But I believe the Finnish man himself can, go pretty far as long as Fools can get him into that 1v1 round.
Absolutely. I think the way and the route that a lot of clans are taking this time around is they're feeding, X amount of people. They'll take their strongest individual PKers, they'll try and feed them the best gear, the best supplies, and make sure that they are the people that get into the 1v1s. I was speaking to Iomeri, and he said a win for Fools. A win for anyone from Fools is a win for Fools regardless. Yeah. And one thing that I was very, very pleased with seeing, I thought it was lovely. He said if Fools win, they're going to use the $20,000 prize money to book a huge Airbnb and have a massive clan meetup where they can all chill and have a holiday together. That's beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I asked them for their 1v1 members, the people they thought would go the furthest in the 1v1 round, and he was like, nope, don't want to give any names away because, like you said, a win for Fools is just a win all round. Doesn't matter who's won it. Let's talk about the other clans as well. Of course, we have the infamous Rot, Reign of Terror, a clan in the previous tournaments has actually taken home the win countless times and is a pretty scary clan, a menacing clan to be going up against. This time round, we haven't heard much about Rot. They've tried to keep it under...
They've been laying low, but, we've got a little bit of info as well on there. And
like you said before.
But, Rot seem like they're quite a formidable force here. They've also been looking at doing Monkey Madness and locking down the Demonic Gorillas, which is obviously going to bring in the Zenite Jewelry, used to create very strong items such as the Ring of Suffering. So if we see that up into the 1v1s, well, we saw what happened last tournament. Just to quickly move away from there, very briefly, but we're looking on screen at the moment, the next time until a chest will drop. Obviously, we made a quick change, a slight change this tournament where we pre-announced where all of the supply chests were going to drop, so that people knew where they were going to go to, rather than it being just a case of figuring out if you're in the right area or not at the right time. They don't know which chest is going to come first, but they know exactly where they're going to be placed. So I would expect clans, if they're really looking to get these items, to be having particular members waiting there. Maybe not. Maybe they don't want to risk it. If you know where the chest is, everyone else always knows where it is.
Well, of course,
too.
if you get in a fight early on when you're not prepared for it, you're not in a good situation, you run the risk of going out early and not making it into the 1v1 final area. Of course, clans in this game, like I said before, are huge. Of the 2,000 people that qualified, some clans and alliances make up hundreds of members. So we have also Cold, we spoke about earlier. Maybe that's like CD, Tartar, Execution, and a few more as well.
There are huge mergers this time
that are coming together.
Huge mergers.
Yeah, the chest drop definitely. But you only get one item from the chest drop, don't you, Aiza?
Well, in terms of the supply chests, so I'll quickly just read out what they contain. One of the chests will have Carol's and Arim's top. Another will have Carol's and Arim's skirt. There'll be a Sears and Archer ring imbued in one of the chests. There'll be an Amulet of Fury and an Infernal Cape. In one of them, there'll just be a solo DFS, a single DFS, but it will be fully charged. So Dragonfire Shield, very, very strong.
Best in slot.
Gear, and also very, very strong for melee as well, because it's the high strength bonus they'll be able to achieve.
And obviously, if you kill someone in Deadman mode in the tournament, and they have a DFS or any Barrows piece, instead of it uncharging it or breaking it upon death, they will
would just
stay
be like a
completely
normal
intact.
item.
You can pick it up, you can wield it.
Yeah. And the final chest then being the Verax skirt and whip, so very formidable items. So you really, you know, they're nothing to ignore. Remember last time we saw a poor level 50-odd guy run up and grab one of these chests and got slaughtered
straight away. Well, I mean, you become a target, don't you, at the same time, if you get these items, because in the 1 versus 1 rounds, having like an Infernal Cape or a Fury that previously you might not be able to get, it just makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the heat map that we introduced last time round and has been perfected by the old school team since?
Yeah, so obviously this is completely interactive here. We're able to move around the map, move around Gillinor. Each of these heat icons here show how many people are in one place, basically. So you can see, if you've seen, obviously, where the chests and the crates are falling, compare that to where every dot that you see here is, and you'll notice that basically people are just scattered around waiting for these chests to drop.
Definitely.
So you'll see people moving in from different regions, coming in, getting the chest, and then towards the end, when it becomes like, you know, the huge cluster of multi-combat, they're just completely merged together.
No, definitely. Another notable thing to say as well is we can see a lot of blue dots in the wilderness. I think earlier, AZ, you picked up on that. Scouts around, waiting for other clans, trying to you know, find out what they're doing, what their tactics are. Because this is a game of strategy, and put yourself in the best position to then have the advantage of whether you're attacking first or not getting caught between two different clans is pretty much essential for survival.
Looks like we're about to see a poor chap over here in his Zamrak robes about to fall to 2 people.
Already in the final area with his firebolt.
Yeah.
I feel for that guy. He's definitely not going to be making out of that one alive.
I definitely don't think so. And here we can see, obviously, the new spectator mode. It's almost like that. It's almost like old school fighting game. You get to see the huge health bar, like a Tekken style thing, and you can see obviously the inventory on the left-hand side where people are eating, consuming brews, etc., etc. I think it adds such a great dynamic to the viewing experience.
Absolutely. We're going to see some amazing getaways, maybe when someone has no food left and somehow manages to escape near death. But this guy, we're 3 people against him. I don't think they'll tank it very much longer.
Vision. I mean, he's doing the best. Those brews, he's stacked considering level 78 with that many brews.
And those brews cost an arm and a leg, so fair play for him to getting so many at 78 combat as well.
Can we just point out that I think his strategy was a bit wrong because he's forgot to bring some restores. So his
stats are going to be at 1.
You know, he might have really high defense right now, but his other stats have plummeted to 0. He is doing nothing.
And he's being cleared out the final area. So the decision, like I said before, to remain in that final area means that you're a target, and people are going to come to that final area early on. Is defending necessarily the best strategy? I guess we've got to wait and find out.
Yeah, so one thing that we see with the new introduction of the crate drops, one thing that we tend to see a lot more of is people don't already stay in the final areas. You know, previous Deadman mode tournaments in the finale, you'd see teams like slightly west of the final area, slightly east, slightly south, and they'd just be clumped up and standing on the same square, and you'd right-click it, and there'd just be like 200 names. With the crate supply drops, you don't really see that anymore. You see the teams scattered around the map, waiting for those crates, and then they slowly work their way in. And it's interesting because that guy there looks, you know, he's sticking out like a sore thumb. What was he doing? He was just standing there like with a load of food. Brews are very expensive as well, so he's standing there tanking all of that.
Poor guy, they've just run into another team. I
wonder if he was just a scout. I wonder if he was a scout for a team, standing there, and they're saying, look, just go in. You've got bad gear. We'll give you loads of food. Stand there, see what's happening, see what other teams are doing, whether they're going to be camping this final area as well, or maybe he did just get stranded, caught in no man's land.
Well, this run up to the final hour, when people get pushed into this permadeath stage, we're not going to see that much action, which is why we're just talking about the clans and the general strategies and such. Of the guys on stage, who do you think is going to go the furthest?
It's hard to say because obviously we've got, you were talking about earlier, we've got Lit, one of the most prolific clans in Deadman mode. They always have huge numbers. This time they've merged with a lot of other clans. They've merged with Tartar.
Execution, Tartar, to name a few, as well as many others.
There was another one, Overkill, as well.
I think they have a force of around 200 to 300 people, which makes up a large portion of the actual tournament.
Yeah.
And as a result, they've had to go into 2 different clan chats, one for Anakal, one for the Falador.
Yeah, so
that's
while
been
we're
quite
on that point,
interesting.
actually, let's talk a little bit about how the final areas work. It's the same as previous tournaments, but if you're not familiar with it, basically we used to have one final area, and ultimately it turned out that actually there was just too much going on at once. You couldn't really see what was happening, clans couldn't really concentrate very well, and the real dominant multi-warring clans were just completely crushing all of their opponents. So we split things up a little bit. We didn't want to take away the advantage that clans bring to Deadman, because it's one of the fundamental things of the whole thing. But ultimately, we wanted to make sure that it was a little bit different. So we've got 2 final areas now, one of those being in Falador, the other being in Demonic Ruins. What happens is once we hit the final hour stage, you'll be assigned to a final area. That's completely randomized. So people are now all of a sudden being said, okay, we have 10 people in our clan, 6 of them are in Falador, 4 of them are in Demonic Ruins. It's now a case of, we've got to change up our tactics. We don't have the force we thought we did. What are we going to do?
But I mean, ultimately, even with 200 to 300 people that the lit kind of combination has, or even the 100 plus that Fools has, or that Rot might have, still only 128 people can make it into the 1 versus 1 stage. So eventually, someone's got to go if they don't make it that far, and they've got to start fighting each other. So it's going to be interesting if these alliances actually fall apart midway through, if some clans decide to backstab the others, just to make sure they've got a better chance of winning.
Yeah,
betrayal.
With these mergers, obviously, you could have teams that have merged with other teams, and then they say, you know, we can quite see there's a lack of number in X team, and then turn around, backstab them, make sure that they guarantee themselves in the final spot.
Go for Vision is finally fair. Oh, he's still alive.
No, he got red barred twice, 3.
Do you know how we were saying?
I believe this is ACDH.
I think the
guy with the flippers on. So this is part of one of the solo player combinations. So people like Sick Nerd, Emily is Pro, and a few other streamers have come together alongside other solo players. It started out as a few friends, like 5 of them, and they realized the benefit being in a clan actually gives. So they decided to form together, and through word of mouth and through the streamers also talking about it, it really grew to be quite a strong force as well.
He seemed pretty stacked there.
He was.
He's got the crystal shield, he's got the RMs as well.
Definitely one to watch later on.
Talking about crystal shield, here's our Robert. As you'll notice now, we actually have names of kind of like key players that will be highlighted above them, and it seems like they're waiting just near the fountain in Varrock for the next supply drop, which is going to be around about 10 seconds time.
So Robert's one of the players that consistently does well. He was invited last time round, and I think this time round he's actually #1 on the high scores overall in the tournament. He has been putting in the hours.
Gaming chair stinks.
Not only that, but he actually took a week off work, and here it drops. Will Robert get it?
Interesting. I think they gave that to Robert, but it looks like it.
Oh, really? Wait, what? What was that noise?
That's sound effect.
10 out of 10. So who else do we have here? We have Magikarp and we have Kill Harvey. I believe that might be part of Wiggled's team, potentially, because Robert usually runs around with them as well. So, I think one to look out for in the 1v1 stage.
Not only is it part of Wiggled's team, I believe that it's actually Wiggled himself.
Oh, really? Well, exposed.
Oh, no, you've given it away. Everyone's going to be targeting him. That's going back, obviously, to the predictions on stage that you were mentioning just a moment ago as well, Ian. When we're talking about these team merges, obviously, we've got two players on stage there, SkillSpecs, MMORPG. They are both with Lit and the huge team merge.
Yeah.
So they've got a good chance of getting into the final. Assuming that no one backstabs them within the cluster at the end, they've got a good chance of getting in. I know SkillSpecs, he's been training incredible amounts. I saw him at breakfast this morning in the hotel.
Oh, yeah, and you asked him for food, and he was like, nope,
9 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning. SkillSpecs, do you want to come along for some breakfast? We'll get some eggs. He's like, no. I'm just coming down to get some water. I got to go back. I haven't slept all night. He's brought his personal computer.
Mate. Yeah, exactly. Like Chris said, he just wants to go for the win. And as we've seen before, consistently on his live streams, the Carol-Darroch combination is something he's very, very used to. He does high-risk fights all the time. Has been doing it for many, many years now. So if he does make it that far, then I think he's definitely one to watch. And I always ask for this. I always ask for the Darroch bombing at some point during the tournament. And SkillSpecs has fulfilled it. So please, mate, get a few kills. Give us some action.
Yeah, I mean, SkillSpecs and Curtis both have a great chance of getting into those 1v1s at the end. Buck, obviously, with Fools. My personal prediction, Fools are going to take the tournament. I think they have... Their coordination is absolutely unreal. The second to none coordination. Their individual players are very, very good as well. So assuming that they've got... Speaking to Buck last night, they have, I think, around 7 or 8 Rings of Suffering on their team. If you don't know about the Ring of Suffering, it's very, very good. It has incredible defensive stats, I believe, plus 20
when imbued.
And
magic defense bonus, yeah.
You can also fill it with recoil rings. So when you deal damage to someone, when they're wearing a recoil ring, obviously it recoils the damage back to you.
And as a result, that makes the difference of like 2 sharks in a fight. So unless you're absolutely dominating your opponent, it's very hard to catch up or compete. Yeah. And 7 or 8 of them, at least one of those guys is going to be in the final with that advantage.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not to be ignored as well, especially when you get to the final 1v1 stage, because after the first fight, when you get a chance to bank, you're carrying on that fight with what you've got. The next fight's following on, you'll get resupplied with a small amount of supplies, but we're talking 13 Shark, 2 Karambwans, a Sara Brew, and 2 Restores. It's not a substantial amount. Exactly. So if you've got that consistent recoil damage, every time you're getting hit...
Makes a huge difference.
That could, as you say, be 2 Sharks. And when you've got 2 Sharks out of 13, well, hello, I've suddenly got a huge advantage over you.
Exactly. Not just to mention that as well, we talked about Lit a second ago, you said the Fools would get very far, but keeping in mind that last tournament, Manked Up Mage did take the win, and the reason why he made it so far is because he actually was allowed by Lit to go through. They got him into that final. So that being said, if Lit has a few decent hybrids, which they do, and if people are going to be looking out for throughout the tournament...
Boss is certainly one to look out for.
example,
Boss,
and they're all very well geared as well, being 120 plus combat. What they usually do, and every clan usually does, is they feed a few of their strongest members, the people that are the most capable hybrids. And they then have got the best chance of winning and taking one for the team.
And Manked, obviously, he won the previous Deadman Mode Invitational in December. He took home the $20,000, and he's someone that we haven't really spoken much about. Obviously, we've been really giving emphasis on how important it is to be in a large team, to make sure that you secure your position in that final 1v1 area. Manked is on a fairly small team in the grand scheme of things, comparing that to sort of the size of Lit, the size of Rot, the size of Fools. They have very skilled individual 1v1 PKers, but their chances of actually getting into the 1v1s, what do you think?
Fools, sorry. Sorry, I was looking at the screen at Moni. I was about to say something about Moni because obviously Moni, quite a infamous streamer. My mind went blank there, apologies. I was looking at Moni because obviously he's actually a Finnish member as well, but he doesn't go with Fools. I told him, like, why don't you make amends with them? Why don't you go out into the finals with them? But I think they've just cast him out. They don't like him at all. So there's some rivalry there. They might start picking on him. And a lot of the streamers and the big names...
They might start picking on him.
Well, I mean, taking them out early on because they know that he's a PvP champion himself. He won $20,000, was it, or $10,000 a few months ago. In a 1v1 hybrid tournament. So let's jump into the heat map again right now and see where everyone is.
Yeah, well, I was looking over at the screen here. The next chest is due to drop in 1 minute, 10 seconds, and it's actually going to end up in Edgeville, right near the bank. When we were looking over there was 2 or 3 people, and there's no surprise. Look at where everyone is. It looks like we have 3, 4 big clumps of people here that are waiting to get to the Falador final area. You probably find that actually is probably 2 or 3 different clans. I imagine so. And eventually, they're probably keeping these positions so they have tactical advantage. If any other teams come in, they can clear them out and then they'll rejoin. So I expect this to turn into a huge clump over the next few minutes.
Shall we talk about the Falador area actually and the strategies that could be used?
We can zoom in here, can't we?
Yeah, we can zoom in a little bit. So obviously to the north, and actually the final area itself is all multi. However, to the south is also multi. So the clans that are going to be inside Falador and near the banks, they're going to be at a huge risk of being hit by other clans. To the northwest, however, there's a huge clump of people right up there, if you can point to it. And actually, that's single-way combat. So they can stand there and not be targeted by huge clans and maybe swoop in near the end. But as you said before, we have so many clans here, so many potential fights that are going to come out. So let's jump back in and where we're now.
We see this every time where a lot of people decide to stand in the single-way combat area and then make their way late into the final zone.
These 2 MVPs picking up the chest. He was standing right where it was spawned.
Ooh. And it drops.
You guys still aren't used to that one, are you?
No, because it sounds like a firework in my ears.
It's incredible, though. The animation when it comes down, the sound effect on there as well now.
I'm really surprised that actually no clans are kind of going for the supply chests. Because I've not seen many. I mean, obviously getting like a Fury or an Infernal King or the other goodies that are in there makes a huge difference to the final 1v1.
It certainly does. I think the one thing is, and one of the reasons why they may not be going for the chest this time is because obviously with a lot of the Zenyte jewelry we've seen, with the increase in how many days, there's, it's usually 5 days for the tournament, and this time it's 8 days. That gives people a lot longer to go and do loads of the necessary quests that are needed to get gear, such as Zenyte jewelry, such as the Ring of Suffering that we've seen so many clans trying to get. With the chests, there's too much risk. They go for a chest. They know they're already stacked. They've fed 5 of their teammates. They go for that chest. They can, they could send 1 or 2 people, but the chances of getting it are very slim. They all go together. They deplete a load of their supplies early game and potentially risk losing.
And just to add on to that, actually, we were saying about how it's an 8-day tournament this time round. The difference that makes is actually insane. We see so many people that are level 120
Sorry to interrupt you here, but we're having a huge amount of action. Foinkit has just fell 93 combat with Barrows on. That was a pretty big kill.
And he had
Why was he solo with all that gear as well? just sitting there by himself.
These
No
are the
idea.
questions that will remain unanswered.
As a solo player, being in the final area, I'm not sure that's the best strategy to go for. And now, obviously, like I said before...
Maybe he should have went for the chest here.
I know, right? Would have been fine to get it as well. But no, him going down, the barrow sets do drop to the floor. They are obtainable again from the person that killed him, and they can wield it straight away. And that barrow's gear is not easy to get.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the positioning of this clan that we have here. Obviously, they're using the trees. Anyone that's familiar with multi-PvP combat here, what exactly kind of advantage will that give them?
Well, obviously, if people are trying to attack you and they have trees in the way, they have to go around the trees, and they get funneled into these 1x1 or 2x2 squares, whereby if they get barrage clumped, they can be dealt a lot of damage. And as well as that, you can wrap people around, people get clumped away, and it's easier to escape as well. So I believe that's the reason for staying in the trees. And here we are at Anakal, deep wilderness. This is obviously a very iconic location. A lot of clan fights do go on up here. I think in previous seasons, actually, or previous tournaments, that's why Rot has won. Are these people logging in?
Another thing to note as well, if we can spectate on the map again, like we mentioned over in Falador, where there's a single-way combat zone just down here by the. Oh my God, I've zoomed in way too far.
We're not quite on the heat map just yet. There we go.
Okay, yeah, just down here where we've zoomed in. Onto the gate. This is obviously where the single-way combat area is, and where people go down, and they go down right late into the area. There's another single-way combat zone if you go up here to the Anakal area, which is right here on the eastern side. I'm very bad at using this map. I apologize. And this is another single-way combat zone. So where people are going to be coming and running into the demonic ruins area, that's probably the safest bet to stay in the wilderness.
All single-way, and then obviously around to the left up here and further south. All multi. Also, big clumps so clans can be caught out. So, I mean...
You get caught in that little gap between those pieces of lava. You've got a team waiting up there. You're
Plus, with
the slaughter.
With the deadly fog that starts to be released too, the only other way through is having to go all the way around, taking a lot of unnecessary damage, as well as being potentially found out by another clan that's hiding over here. So very few options compared to the Falador, I'd say.
Yeah.
Sure. And looking at the overall bigger picture here now, we've obviously got 3 very large clumps in towards the very deep north wilderness. There seems to be another team now that are making a very late transition up towards there. But interestingly, over in Falador, it's still that 5 single areas. So is it that they're more split up and being tactical? Are they different clans and they're actually not all together? And up towards the north, is this just 3 huge forces, 3 separate clans?
Yeah.
Maybe more people have ended up down towards Falador.
And we've said before that there are about 4 or 5 large clans that we are looking out for. Lit, Fools, Rot are some of the bigger names that you guys will be familiar with. But obviously the alliances that are being formed means that these clans are going to be going up against each other and potentially having to take each other on during the final just to make it into that 1-2-8 final 1v1 round.
Talking about large clans, a little bit of more insider info that good old Mod Sween has been digging out for us. So there appears to be a clan that have named themselves Rads 201, and that appears to be a collection of solo players. Multiple teams have actually tried to infiltrate this clan and try and find out what's going on with them, where they are, the whole scouting techniques. And
not only are they infiltrating it to find out what they're doing, but they're also infiltrating it to maybe merge inside and take out people from the inside, like backstab them, and have a better chance of making it through. Kind of like a camouflage. Let the new players go in first as cannon fodder, so to speak, and they can come in afterwards and deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, so we've had news that certain members from Rotten Fools have actually been trying to embed themselves into this clan as members. So,
watch your spies.
Yeah, you guys want to be careful of that. They claim to have actually attracted a number of high-profile players as well. We're talking Sick Nerd is apparently with them, Emily is with them, some known Deadman mode players like True Fox, ACDH, and also Kalmars.
Well, maybe the reason why Fools and Rot have engaged in this clan is also to take down these more notable members, the ones that have a good chance potentially in the 1v1 round. Sick Nerd, I don't mean you. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
he's been doing really well this season. Actually, this tournament. He's been doing exceptionally well. He's level 120 plus combat as always. He plays the whole week.
Oh yeah,
solidly.
He goes really hard.
And he has a lot of good gear as well. The Barrow's gear, obviously. And the next chest is about to drop. And where is it dropping, Aiza?
It's just south of the the Graveyard of Shadows, and I think it's right near the Mammoths.
It's in Multi, I guess, as well, because it's in Mammoths. And look at that guy there, that scout. He's going to grab it himself, and no one else is going to go for it.
Just the one single dude that seems to be wearing nothing.
What level is he?
A glory. Is it a glory he's wearing?
Or a games necklace, probably.
Here,
I mean, the chest is there. He's gone to pick it up.
And he's got it. Wow. What level is he? Can we get a right click? Black Beans, level 68 combat.
What a lad.
And he's being attacked already by...
It's the fog.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead.
And he's dead.
What?
Wait.
Why was that supply chest there? Why did he go south and not north?
I think he ran into the wrong
He
direction.
ran the wrong way, didn't he?
Yeah, so a few things that we changed with the fog to make it a little bit easier against, and a little bit less punishing if you make mistakes. So if you're running into the fog when the jump has already happened,
that's why you saw a few little
you'll
damages.
see damage slowly building up, and if you carry on and you carry on, you're like, I'm still taking damage. If you carry on taking damage, you will die. It will insta-kill you. However, if you run the opposite way, you won't take any damage at all.
Yeah.
That must have been so exciting, getting the chest. You think to yourself, oh, no one's going to be here, other clans are going to be here, I'm not going to have a chance at all, and then you finally get it, and then just like that, wiped out in a second.
The poor guy was probably trying to head back to the GE to get rid of that straight away without realising.
Sell it off. And this clan as well, just trying to escape the fog as well, trying not to get too close into it, but only a small force of around what? Looks like just a couple of people, really, a few friends perhaps, in full rune armor. Level 80 combat, yeah, good luck to him. Oh, it's just 4 of them. 5. This is what demo's all about, though. Getting online with friends, teaming up, enjoying yourself, and just having fun.
One thing you were talking about earlier, the storylines of Deadman mode, the storylines and the narratives of the clans. And, Rot have always been the bad guy, haven't they? People view Rot as the bad guy. They're the bad team. Like, we expect them to win, but no one really wants them to win.
Yeah.
This time around, I've been keeping up to date. I've been keeping up with Twitter. I've seen people like, oh, we want Rot back. It was more fun when Rot were here. People think that Rot aren't playing. And speaking to Rot and speaking to people of other teams, they have just kept a really, really low profile. And they have up to 110 members.
Well, they gave me the same thing that a lot of clans give me, which is just propaganda. Telling me, oh, we're not playing this time round. Don't worry about us, and don't talk about Rot whatsoever. But they've, like I said before, infiltrated all these other open CCs. So they've got the best chance getting some 1v1s because they know that other clans will target them and they will come after them because they know that they're a very strong force.
It'll be interesting to see with these huge mergers that we've seen with Lit, how many of these other teams are actually Rot members. And we can just see that they'll just implode. There'll be so many Rot members inside. I think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be lots of BS in.
I mean, specifically last time round, I think Rot only had about 30 to 50 people playing. It wasn't mandatory. They weren't making people play. They took a tournament off because they had final exams, I think, during Christmas.
Yeah.
However, this time round, they have like over 100 people, like you said before. And even last time, they had, I think, a few people in the 1v1s and got very, very far.
We just saw another unfortunate victim fall to a very large amount of players.
And that's what happens when you're solo playing. You don't stick around or you get too close to other clans. You can get sniped off and in a cluster very, very quickly. And clumps again, just people going down. And that is Haley, a streamer, actually, I'm pretty sure. Haley,
I know Haley.
Unlucky there, 91 court. She's been playing quite a lot this week as well. I'm not too sure why she was by herself all the way up there, but yeah, being taken out of the game very quickly.
She's not making it to the final 1v1s, obviously.
Unfortunately for her.
So looking at the heat map now, we can obviously see on the screen there's a very large force that are going towards Anakal, but actually there's another force just opposite it, a slightly smaller one. If those two were to clash, that smaller force, which you can see just here, is most certainly going to get completely wiped out unless it's all a mind tricks and they're together and it just forms a bigger circle.
They're running away. They're scared of each other.
Well, I mean, engaging this early on, is it really the smartest move? Because if they do fight each other, like you said, the other clans can swoop in then and clear up, so to speak.
And remembering at this point now, if you die, that's it, you're out. You are sitting at the login screen, and if you log back in, you're in jail.
It's interesting as well because this time around, when I've been speaking to a lot of clan leaders, they've given me information and secret tactics of how they're going to approach the 1v1s, but I'm not allowed to talk about them
the 1v1s
until the 1v1s. I don't want to expose them. I don't want to out them.
No.
And then everyone's like, yeah, I know what they're going to do, and we can counter that. And yeah, but I'm looking forward to speaking about that more when it actually happens because there's some really, really cool tactics that people have adopted.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think with the suffering, in particular, there was quite a lot of drama based around that. A lot of people saying it is a unique strategy, and other people saying it's just a bit too overpowered. But I think we're going to see some other strategies that are actually even better than the suffering that people have gone for.
Yeah.
And in combination with it, of course. Looking around Falazar again still, just waiting for things to happen. I've got some tweets coming in. Isaac, can you read that one at the top left, top right?
So we have RS Pony
if you
saying,
can read
amazing to see such an absolute legend as Bwook on stage.
Absolutely. I remember actually in 2007 or so when I started PKing back in free-to-play and such, and you start making videos, like you said, the God Sword, running around in Bounty Hunter, just taking everyone down. So iconic. And I'm so glad that he's actually on stage representing Full, such a huge clan we've seen time and time again do very well at the tournament.
I'm just impressed that you were actually able to read that from here.
I have Hawkeye vision. It's been confirmed.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Actually, we can obviously see what's happened in the tournament now. Guys, what's going to happen after the tournament? Is that it for Deadman? Is Deadman finished?
Of course not. It's been 2+ years now the Deadman has been around for, and with every new season, every 3 months, new season is unveiled, of which the top 2,000 players come into this tournament. So, as this tournament ends tonight at 10:30 p.m., I believe it is.
It depends when we finish, but we're aiming to finish around about 9:30, 10 p.m. GMT.
Okay, awesome. When that happens, the seasonal will go live. You can jump straight in. And we've made some, well, you guys have made some really fantastic changes.
It looks like this clan here have made their own safe area.
The box of doom.
Yeah, if you enter that one, you don't need Fog to die. They're just going to kill you themselves.
Literally.
But yeah, the seasonal, that will be it will be going live straight after this. We'll try our best to make sure that we can highlight some of the start of that season.
Yep.
But it's definitely one that you don't want to miss. We've made some of the biggest changes, most drastic changes that you can think of. We're talking extra loot on all NPCs, double drops of herbs, triple fish every time you fish. Here's another supply drop.
Again.
I have to say, that one took me off guard as well.
And who's going to get this time? Prime.
Here we go. It was the Amulet of Fury in the Infernal Cave.
Really? And who's got it? A guy with range, I believe, not even with a melee setup.
Hopefully this time he doesn't run straight into the fog and die.
I mean, at the same time, I think, obviously, the clans aren't going for it.
K64, I believe.
If a clan does take people down that have the items, they drop to the floor, then they can pick it up themselves. So there's no point in them running the risk of doing it themselves, and they can just, pick it up later on.
That being said, though, I mean, a lot of the times when this is happening, when these fights start kicking off, there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of things going off at once. And to be honest, I can imagine that the only thing that clan members are concentrating on is whatever their leader is calling out.
Yeah.
Whoever's responsible of calling out names, of calling out positions, I don't think you're going to have time to concentrate on what's on the floor. It might even be that we'll see an Infernal Cape lay there that no one will pick up.
That could well happen, yeah.
And look at the coordination of this clan, all moving as one huge unit. You won't want to come against that as a solo player, or even as a clan. All running, synchronized. Here they go in for a fight.
We can see them on the heat map. This is the massive circle we could see on the heat map earlier. They've come in. They've initially taken loads of damage themselves.
And you can see the clan on the left-hand side are actually spreading out, trying to wrap around the other clans to gain that kind of power, that momentum. We see clusters being hit.
Straight in the middle.
The AoE damage, hitting multiple opponents at the same time, as well as the freezes from Barrage, freezing people in place, so they have nothing but to do apart from just tank and try and survive as long as possible.
Exactly, and they're only able to prey against one of the two attacks that we're going to mainly see in this area. So they're either going to protect from magic, which is going to defend them from the ice barrage attacks, or they're going to protect from range, which is going to protect them from obviously, chin chompers that we're going to see. They're both area of effect attacks. The barrage freezes them on a 3x3 square, and the chin chomper will damage them with range. So they're always going to be taking damage from one or the other.
And also, really interesting tactic to not to be inside that main area, because we have, like I said before, funneled areas where if you get caught in them and you get clumped in them, you can't get out for 15 seconds, 20 seconds if you get frozen, and then you just get destroyed by loads of people throwing chin chomper after chin chomper at you. It's pretty hard to see who is winning this fight right now, where both clans trying very carefully not to just run in and just click and wait. They have to go round. They have to make sure they're in the right positions and that they're obviously targeting the same people at the same time to make use of those numbers, to make that coordination matter and actually count.
Yeah. They're biding their time quite well. They're keeping on the outskirts of the ruins, and anyone that's going into the middle, obviously, they're going to be getting targeted. There are people on the left-hand side there, just over to the west, that are getting targeted right now. I think they've got a small clump just over there of around 4 or 5 people that are getting damaged quite a lot. But other than that, it seems to be quite a timid fight.
I also see, actually, to the east and to the west, like you said before, other clans just waiting, biding their time to come in, snipe the remaining players, and get the jump on them, obviously, as well, because if they don't see it coming, if you're between two clans, there's not really much you can do unless you can reposition yourself and refocus your energy.
Yeah, I think if we can go back to the heat map quickly as well, we can just sort of give a visual understanding of what's going on here and what the kind of action that's going to be ensuing shortly.
Absolutely. We also see dwarf multi-cannons in there. People showing off their wealth, the grind they've been doing over the past 8 days. I'm not sure it's going to help them in the final unless they want to take care of some of the lesser demons that are up here.
So in this fight here, unless I'm mistaken, if High Mamam TV has been listed correctly, the reason that clan was so huge, and it might be that they're not as coordinated as you'd expect from a normal clan, is it would actually be Rads 201, which would be where all of the people, OpenCC, some of the streamers, everyone that's kind of like bundled in together.
A lot of the solo players looking for that action really early on, trying to excite their live streams.
Look at the split that we've got here. We've got everyone down into the northeast area, and then we've got a load of other people up in the northwest. But
I would say though that the clan on the east, we're going to start engaging now, running in, getting funneled, having to be careful here because they're clumped, but obviously pushing on that pressure and forcing the other clan to be taken by surprise, and lots of hits coming in. You can see the damage.
So much damage.
Oh my gosh, they're going to fall left and right like flies right now.
There's one.
There's
two. We can see loads and loads of people just perishing, and I'm so excited to see what happens on the eastern side here. That team we were talking about earlier, just down to the south of the Demonic Ruins area, they were stood in the single combat zone. They've moved up north, and they're biding their time on the eastern side. So all of this stuff's going down. There's a clan about as large as everyone in this area, right now.
Yeah. And also behind them, another clan to the south, which can then
Slightly
sandwich
smaller,
in.
but
a little bit smaller.
They could do some significant damage.
I will mention another thing as well. Obviously, not everybody has committed the time over the 8 days to get the best account possible. And some people here have got pink robe skirts. They've got Dorgish crossbows trying their best to get as far as possible.
Yeah.
There's a man wearing a gold apron.
A golden apron as well. From a clue scroll. Wow, fair play if you got that RNG.
The great thing, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, the thing as we're looking at the heat map here, we can obviously see roughly kind of how big these clans are. And as Elliot was saying, the clan towards the east, they're huge. Their blob is as big as what these two forces combined are.
I like that, their blob.
So what's going to happen is obviously when this fight ends, the main blob...
It's about to happen now.
And they're going to get caught by supply. No, there's no need to. They're about to jump on them any second now from the east. Chinchomba's flying in
coming
out
from
of the corner.
There they are.
And I wonder which clan this is. Currently, we have no idea.
I love how you can see the ranged attacks rendering before the people as they come in, and you just know that.
And this clan knows what they're doing. So I see Dragon Chain Boys. I see a lot of Arims. I see a lot of Barrow's Armor in general.
I can see Curtis in the fray. He's trying to keep himself alive. Remember him? He was saying that his tactic is to just try and hide, survive for as long as possible.
But he's ran straight into that clan that's come from the east, and now he's in the corner, the northeast corner, with a few other of the members. So clearly they have some good communication. I see Mika279 as well in there at the north end, who has been also putting in the time and the effort throughout. And now Falador, clans moving in, protect Mage up to make sure they can't get barraged.
They don't want to get frozen. They're about to walk into the west, where we saw all those players hiding behind the trees. This is where they can get clumped in, and there can be absolute mad amounts of damage going in.
And we can really see how many people are here now. We've at least got, I reckon there's got to be 2, 3, probably even 4 clans that have all came together to battle now.
We're going to see the number in the top left, obviously. There's 400 plus players remaining. We're going to see that drop in by the tens rapidly.
And you can see, like, if you're in the middle of that clump, there's nothing you can do about it. You're just taking damage
no man's
constantly.
land. You can see there's about 10 people just in no man's land, and all of their bars pretty much went red at the same time.
I'll tell you what, that clan on the east side is very, very well organized. You see their clump is very carefully placed, but also another clan on the north end as well. So yeah, like you said before, several clans all going at it in a triangle formation, constantly switching sides, making sure they don't cause too much damage to then make that clan come back onto them and retaliate. They've got to be careful.
The strongest shape in nature.
So we can see here that this corner that we can currently focus on, where Rick branches, that's Fools. So we have Fools at this top end.
Yeah. Okay. And to the south of them, have we got a confirmation on who that is as well?
As soon as we can see
we have Fear Mage 3211. We got a name for that? I believe that might be Blazers, if I'm not mistaken.
That's Bitter.
That's
Who is it, sorry? Bitter. And that will be Blazers, who are obviously previously known as Legends, and they have done as well, exceedingly well. Last season, last tournament rather, unfortunately, Syke did get disqualified for rule breaking, but he did win the tournament. If he hadn't have rule broken, he would have taken home the money as well. But they're definitely one to look out for in the 1v1 stage too.
Absolutely, yeah. Have you got a favourite? Is there anyone that you guys want to win? If you could have anyone win, who would it be, Ben?
To be totally honest, I'm not all about favourites. I'm just about whoever shows the...
You just like to see some good PK.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah? This is what Deadman is about, right? It's about showcasing true skill. We're looking at 2 different forms of skill. We're looking at clan PKing, and then we're looking at 1v1s.
Yeah.
Before all of that, it's the whole strategy building up to it. That's what makes it so great for me. It's not all about personalities. It's not about individuals or clans. It's just about all communities coming together, everyone getting involved, and then showcasing everything that they've worked on for years. I mean, some of these clans have been around for as long as Old School and as long as RuneScape has existed.
Yeah.
And it's their chance to showcase what they're made of. And I think that's what makes it for me.
Fair play.
What about you, Elliot? Who's your personal favourite to go through?
My personal favourite to go through, I can't really give a personal favourite now after...
what Ben said? No.
Yeah, I use his wholesome speech about how he just loves the community coming together. I would...
Well, I wouldn't be a community manager if it was any other way. So, I just want to quickly point out as well that in the top corner here of this clan, it actually seems to be that... I've actually forgot which clan it was now. I think it was Lit.
Short-term memory. Celebrating St. Patrick's Day a bit too much.
On the southwest corner as well, I actually see a few members from the Blazers squad, like we said before. I believe it is Wiggles down there as well. Kill Harvey was his name earlier, I believe you said, Ben. So clearly they've been split up into a few forces, and obviously when your clan is only 50 members large, going against clans that are 200 members large potentially, every member counts, and
well,
it's really...
we've seen in previous Deadman mode finals, Blazers, Wiggles' team. Obviously, he's a prolific name and a very well-known PKer in the community, we've seen them merge with Fools. So obviously on stage we've got Bwak and PB representing Fools. We've seen in the past Wiggled and Bwak's team together. This time, however, Fools are so confident in their ability.
They are.
As a Finnish-only team, I think it's fascinating and fantastic how many players they can get in a Finnish-only team. You literally can't join unless you're Finnish, and they've got over 100 people. But the Blazers are going to be on their own this time, so they're skeptical of how well they're going to do, and it looks like they are actually getting piled very, very badly now.
By 2 clans, like I said before, but getting clumped out, yeah. And back to Anakal as well, we got the streamer squad, or the solo group that are all sitting here as well towards the east corner, just biding out their time, trying to get into combat too much. But to the northwest, pressure is being put on, and I believe we'll see a few fights going on here. If you get stuck into the middle, like I said earlier, you will get clumped. You won't have very many escapes either. And if you get caught in one of those entrances, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, you can see in the Anakal area, in the demonic ruins, there's not too much fighting going down in comparison to Falador. Obviously, they're split up mainly between the top right and the bottom left. And then they've been picking off people individually as they go through, and you'll just see a couple people dying here and there. Although towards the end, it did start to get a bit exciting. Falador, though, is popping off.
Absolutely. Towards the north corner again, the solo clan still trying to wrap around, getting out of combat. And southwest, I believe I said before, it must be Fools. We're pretty sure. We have a member there. Who's that? Overtake.
It's going to be interesting to see if this is because the way it looks right now, visually, you'd think. Intuitively, that's 3 clans. You can see the 3 piles of people moving collectively as a unit.
Yeah.
However, we quite easily be the case that there are two clans, and they're splitting up into 2 groups, and they're trying to take on another clan and make sure that they're coming in from both sides, sandwiching them.
What I've witnessed so far is they're just being very hesitant about engaging in combat, because if you overcommit and the other clan from the other corner comes in, there's not much you can really do about that. So I believe they have mages in the back that are trying to freeze off the opponents that are trying to come in. And communication here is absolutely key. Being able to tell your team members, oh no, from the west, people are coming in. Let's regroup, let's push back a little bit and refocus our efforts. And that's where the real clan skill sets different clans apart.
Yeah, and I think one reason we're seeing a lot of hesitation as well is because obviously you're going to need to get a freeze on a lot of these players. You're going to have to make sure that you've got a sufficient amount of players frozen for your attack to really be worthwhile. You send in one mage or a couple of mages to freeze people, and they run straight back. The greater distance that you run away means that someone that you've frozen will become unfrozen. So it's not really worth it. If you send a couple people in, they can get picked off because they're then the people in no man's land, and you may have lost one of your most valuable members.
I think at this point, with still 400 plus players remaining, they're fighting to the bitter end, trying to keep it, make sure they last as long as they can. Maybe not to ensure themselves going through to the 1v1s, but every member of your team counts when only 128 can move forward. So even staying and just throwing a few extra chinchompers, or like we said before, even having a Dorgish crossbow, doing damage, every bit counts.
It does, definitely. And I was obviously wrong. My prediction about 5 minutes ago or so was that we're going to see that 400 plus players remaining. Oh, maybe I wasn't wrong.
Well, now it's 250.
It's just up to 250. There was a bit of a...
That was probably a whole clan has just been wiped out near Falador.
Probably, yeah.
You think so? Should we go have a look quickly, fly back to Falador?
That was...
Looking at it now, actually, in fact, you can see that there are the 2 sides at Falador are completely
Oh, no, yeah, the southeastern one, which I believe Fear Mage 32, can we get confirmation on who that was again, Ben? Because I believe that was Ditta Bitter, potentially, which is the Blazers clan. And, yeah, they're being wiped out very quickly now, being just clumped by both the north and the western side. Maybe they heard on stream that they're the 1v1 team going really fast, so being picked off and being sniped.
And it's a shame because, obviously, in Blazers, we've got very, very skilled 1v1.
Very competent ones, yeah.
Very, very skilled 1v1 PKers, and I would be confident in saying that if Blazers got through, they survived this onslaught from what seems to be a lot of Fools members, they could certainly have a very, very good chance of taking home the $20,000. However, speaking to them
and they're pushing up. Sorry,
they're moving up. They're moving up very, very fast.
They've realised they were sandwiched between 2 clans and being clumped, and if they stay there, they won't last much longer. But they retaliate. The clan to the north throwing absolutely a crazy amount of chins. Look at the amount of hits that are coming compared to how much damage they're actually dealing. And maybe this is a bad decision because I see member after member falling for their team, and they're not going to be able to last much longer now. However, to the southwestern corner, the other clan that was waiting there, they can move forwards and out to the northeast as well and retaliate and maybe get themselves a very, very easy win and go into the final 1v1 stage.
That was
just like that, an entire team has been wiped out.
Literally, pretty much everyone's gone here. So the last two clans are left to fight each other.
They were stuck in a situation whereby, regardless of what move they made, they were pretty much bound to lose a lot of their members.
I've not even seen the North and the Southwest even fight each other much. Maybe they have some kind of agreement to, wait until this other clan gets taken out first.
There's still a decent amount of those guys left over there.
Yeah, of course there are, but how much
Certainly
longer can they last for? I see a lot of telegrabs coming into play there if you're on the normal spellbook, grabbing any food that's been left by other players that die and people can't risk going up to pick it up, which is a very, very smart tactic as well.
You don't want to go in no man's land to pick yourself up an Aram skirt and perish because of it, do you?
But that Aram skirt is definitely worth getting.
Teams seem to be doing the around the roses with each other here. One's going down one way, the other's coming the other way. We were talking how, the clans are kind of like separating. No one seems to be wanting to fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've discussed before, you're using tactics to funnel people in. We know that if a team member or a group of team members go forward to make an attack, they take those few steps, they become enraged. There's 20 members that can instantly hit on them. The timing has to be absolutely perfect, because in a war like this, if you lose 2, 3, as little as that many members, you're at immediate disadvantage compared to your opponent.
Well, especially as not every clan has, 40 people, 100 people that are geared up in the best in-slot gear possible, with the best stats possible. They only have a few that actually think are going to have a real good chance of, winning the 1-versus-1 stage. Yeah. And therefore, those people being taken down early on really relinquishes the team's chances of, winning the whole tournament.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see which clans predominantly prevail in this area. Obviously, we've seen so much action both up in the Demonic Ruins area and in Falador.
I'm pretty sure this stream team actually, I'm not trying to say surprisingly, but they're doing exceptionally well. I see Curtis even jumping into the mix too, throwing barrage after barrage, getting some freezes, helping out his team. All these people who aren't always PKers or known as PvPers are still getting involved and putting everything they can into it.
They've got the gear. We can see Curtis's face on stage now, a man of pure concentration. Look at the forehead on him.
And also,
beautiful to see.
And also now Falador again, just the last few members of Blazers, I believe, being wiped out one at a time, while the other two clans still looking very, very strong.
There he is, the man himself.
Full of concentration.
But yeah, a lot of them at Blazer members as well, I see have some ridiculous gear. A guy in like full Torags or full Daroks running away now, trying to survive on like 10 HP and somehow got away.
But someone did just perish in no man's land between the two teams towards the center of that.
Another tactic I've seen quite a lot as well to save supplies, obviously, is the Blood Barrage spell, which actually heals a percentage of damage that you deal.
Yeah.
Which is very unique and very, very helpful when your supplies are limited. You can't go back to the banks at this point. It's just what's on the floor, what you can get hold of, and obviously things like Blood Barrage.
Yeah, exceptionally popular in previous iterations of Deadman mode as well. We'd see a lot of people in the final area relying on that Blood Barrage, and you'd see it being extremely successful. You'd see someone at half HP, they hit a Blood Barrage, it hits like 30 people, and they're back.
Look at these clumps that Curtis's team is getting, and he's going right in there, just jumping into it, absolutely fearless, leading his team forward into battle. Not known as a PKer, but clearly showing his skills and his willingness to get as far as possible.
Yeah, I think a lot of his team members are being attacked from behind here. I can see a lot of hit splats on the rear end of Curtis's squadron, so he's pushing up, he's moving around the outskirts again and trying to get into safety.
Absolutely, back to Falador now. Still just one member at a time being wiped out. Still 250+ players remaining. I'm not sure that's been updated yet, but it's very soon. 128 left. We moved into the 1-versus-1 area, and then we can see the best of the best take down each other one at a time per round.
So many rune plate legs.
Oh man,
and I think there are some Barrows pieces. There are some Barrows pieces on the floor there. Maybe that's you've got to excuse my eyesight. Some Torags legs possibly.
Daroks as well. I don't understand why people aren't picking it up or even trying to go for the telegrab move, because obviously that defense bonus is so huge compared to Dragon, compared to Rune, and it really makes it. It's what you need to win basically. And if you don't have that gear, you can't compete. No matter how good you are, I think you need it at this point.
It probably goes back to what we were saying before, how a lot of these people, Deadman mode's open to everyone and anyone. So there might be some people that aren't as confident in their PKing ability, so they just want to focus on staying alive and dealing damage back rather than actually picking things up off the floor. But, that being said, that's what distinguishes great players and your average player as well.
Yeah, when you're in that state of panic, and obviously I've been there before, when you're in that final area and you're trying to focus on how many people are attacking you, where you can stand. If you move in this direction, will you be completely clumped? Like these poor guys in the south.
The last of this short team, they went pretty hard for quite a long time, and now they're being taken out, a few left. and not really much they can do. Literally, look at Dittabitter running straight into the middle.
I think Dittabitter has just died. If we can get confirmation on that, he was running. He was trying to give it boots for his life, and unfortunately, he did perish right in the middle by the statue of Falador.
This has been absolute non-stop action in the last few minutes. Just all clans constantly fighting one another.
I see Robert at the northeast corner as well of Anakal, alongside the other Legends members. So it looks like the force at Falador got wiped out, but they still have a chance to get through at the Anakal if they make it.
Has Skill Specs died? Okay, right, no worries, that's fine.
And we have Mika as well, who I said before, has been working really hard this whole week. 120 plus combat, strong. He's got the full Barrows equipment, and I've not seen him engaging that much. He's kind of staying at the back, at the rear, making sure he doesn't, have any risk of dying, because previously we saw him go really far in the tournament too. He made it to the 1 versus 1 stage. He got into the top. Was he second place? I think actually he might have taken second place last time, I believe.
Yeah.
And now again, having the clans having to move down south, they're being chased, and it looks like they're being targeted, like we said before. Robert's team having to move away, and also like reposition themselves, like I said before. But that clan to the north, just over them. I'm not too sure who it is. I think it is the streamer team. The streamer mass are taking down proper clans one at a time, really showing their worth there.
They're running round. Obviously, one of the biggest strategies here in these end zones is to stay on the outskirts, pick people off that run in, stray, the stray players. Yep. But they're just straight up assaulting. The onslaught, they're just pushing and pushing and pushing, and they're ending up running circles around the demonic ruins.
And there's only 50 more people now that have to die as well.
They're clumping like, maybe 10 people at a time that are just stranded at the back. They're the, they're the baby buffalo. They're not as fast.
And in a few minutes, we're going to see like the last few people actually fall and being moved into the final 1 versus 1 area, because with 175 players left, I don't know, it looks like just there's still teams that can fight each other and can take each other down. I thought it might come to the conclusion where clans would have to, fight each other, the alliances would be broken, and backstabs would be going on. But that drama might not need to happen, as there's only a few teams left that can actually fight each other. And if one clears the other one out, that'll be it.
And exactly, and it's literally the case of one more team has to die now, and we're straight away locking them into the final 1-2-8.
Yep.
I mean, I'm surprised that one of the teams obviously hasn't, made the first moves, just run in and just go, let's give it our all, let's take out as many people as we can. But ultimately, you could be throwing away your strategy like that. So it's a bit of a game of chess. You're waiting for the opponent to do something, then you react accordingly and reassess the situation.
It's nice to see, I think, MMORPG maybe getting a little bit overzealous there, running straight into the middle for a cheeky barrage. I'm not too sure if I agree with that strategy.
He's loving life,
He is not scared. Look at the concentration on him again. I love it.
I can respect that, because obviously he's not known as I said before as a PKer, although he does play every tournament, and he's every time getting better and better.
He's doing fantastic. He's so close to being into the final area, and I don't necessarily agree with those overzealous moves. Running straight into the middle to get a barrage. I mean,
risky, very risky, but he wants to do it for his team. He wants to make sure so many people can get through to the 1v1 stage.
Risk versus reward, though. I don't want to see a man on stage with such high gear, such long hours invested into the game perish because of a silly move.
I mean, he hasn't got arrows, he's got Mystics, so quite lower defense bonus. And all it takes is for a few people to just jump on him at the same time, for him to have the wrong overhead prayer up, so he can't absorb a lot of the damage dealt, and he'll just go down in an instant.
It does seem to be working, though. If you look in the top right corner, you've got our Robert stuck in there, but Curtis and his clan are just absolutely destroying them. Robert's managed to escape now, but the great thing with the new tools that we have in place is look how many of these big names are still available.
It is. It's incredible. And I want to say I'm proud of Curtis. I'm genuinely proud of him. He's done fantastic, and it's good to see so many people, so many big names still alive at the end.
Back to Falador now. We still have these two clans going at it. I believe they had an alliance beforehand, but it looks like now, no, the alliance is off the board, off the table, because only 128 people can go through now, so they want to make sure they've got the best chance possible of doing so. Yeah. But I would say right now, the clan to the south, we can get confirmation again of who Rick Branch is, I believe. They look to be a little bit stronger, a few more members, and they've got a good chance of taking them over. I believe
Rick Branch is one of Fool's stacked members.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe that he's one of the...
The Finnish power has actually taken dominance, like we said before. Pardon, sorry? Oh, it's Block. Oh, it's Block on PB, this Rick Branch. Oh, no wonder it's Fools then, absolutely dominating. And that's why they took down the Legends for really early on. Doing really, really well.
Yeah, he's doing fantastic. Obviously, one of the...
So cool, calm, and collected as well. Look at him, just having a good time, enjoying himself in England.
That's the face of a veteran PKer if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
such a handsome man as well.
I've just had confirmation that currently there are 156 players remaining.
Oh, really? Okay, so 30 left to go, and then the final 1v1 area will ensue.
Not too long. Obviously, we haven't seen much 1v1 action from Buck in recent days. Obviously, he's a very prolific name in the community.
No. Sorry,
and
Robert
PKer.
is being stacked out, but he got away. Oh, I thought he was going to fall there. He's good, he's good.
Yeah, he has got away.
He's fine.
He's hidden over in the corner.
And we see some Dragon Spears coming into play now as well, pushing people into the opponents and being stacked out.
Kurt is still alive. Robert and... my eyesight's too bad to read that.
Mika,
Harvey?
I believe. Oh,
Yeah.
Harvey. Harvey is Wiggled, I
Harvey.
believe he said earlier. And also there's Magic Carp guy next to him and Robert. These names that we've been picked out by Mod Sween have been looked at.
Yeah.
These are the guys that we think are going to go quite far in the 1v1 stage, that have got really good gear, that are stacked and have a lot of experience and consistently done well in previous tournaments as well.
It seems as though Blazers have done a pretty decent job so far of remaining intact, ready to go into the 1v1 stage. Obviously, Manked on stage is still alive.
Yeah.
He was very pessimistic about his own ability in staying alive in this part.
Yeah. And that's the overzealous strategy we're talking about in the middle there. People are getting clumped, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't tank that many people, no matter how good you are.
Dropping off like
Literally.
flies.
And they had full Barrows gear too. It's not like they're in noob gear. They've got good stats, 100+ combat, but they just get taken out like flies. And back to Anakal now, back at the Greater Demons, looking around. Not much really happening still, just trying to survive for as long as they can to get the best chance of getting to that 1v1 stage. But they can't hold on for much longer, as I believe the team MMORPG, or rather the stream teamer, and the solo players are really doing well here.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how many Fools members are going to be in there into the final 1v1s. Looking at Falador, it seems that most of the Fools members were assigned Falador. You know,
they got quite lucky. I've not seen that many Fools people up.
Yeah, me neither. You see Buck rocking with a huge group of people over there, so you know there could be.
There's some RNG involved there, but also the fact that obviously they had 120 people plus in the first place. I mean, they've got a very good chance of having a big force in one of the areas.
Looks like Robert's just about to fall here.
Oh no, he's speared out. He's done so well.
Going to be there. He is. He's fell. Unfortunate, Robert. Just so close as well to the final 1v1.
That was MMORPG's team that he's rocking with Lit, who are also also merged with a lot of other people, and they've taken down.
Curtis with Lit, sorry.
Yeah, Curtis.
Oh, my bad. I thought they were with the stream team, actually the solo team, but I guess they joined Lit then.
So that would explain the insane levels of coordination that they have between them now.
People they have
Here we are thinking Curtis is leading the team to the front of victory, and actually it's the leaders of Lit.
It's the leaders of Lit that he's going with. Although saying that, like we said before, he has been going,
credit where credit is due.
Yeah, he's jumping into the mix and just getting involved, which is what it's all about.
So there's a slight stalemate here now between the two teams. They're probably just weighing up their different options and what's going to be the best route for them to take. Do they want to make an attack now, or are they going to wait it out for people in Falador to fight? Maybe that's what both sides are doing. They're thinking, there's only got to be a few people left now, surely.
Yeah.
What if we wait for the other clans to fight? We've got all of our people. We don't want to take that risk and lose them.
You do say that, but what it looks like to me here is Lit have made a bit of a ballsy play. They've run straight into the middle of the ruins. They've thrown a few barrages over to the southwest corner, and it looks to be that they're taking out some of Blazers' members right now. I would have thought that they'd have tried to buy their time a little bit more. Stay up in the corner, wait to see what happens in Falador. But
the thing is, literally,
they wanted to make a move.
10 to 15, 20 people left will fall, and then they've got a chance of going through. If you get it to the last 130 people, how frustrating would that be to just get that chance and miss it by literally nothing? That would suck.
Imagine hearing that you were the 129th player.
We can see now a big name has just been taken out. They also got speared and bolted.
I believe it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So that's now 2. That was 1, 2, 3, and Robert, who have both been frozen, speared, and bolted to death at the end.
Which means that the Lit Execution CD Tartar Alliance, the 200 to 300 man force, have ensured themselves most likely a place in that 1v1 final, alongside Fools, potentially Rot for all we know. We don't know if they're lurking within other clans, trying to make their way into the final area. We're not too sure yet.
We can see obviously Blazers just in the bottom left there how few numbers they have now. We've seen their numbers get lower and lower and lower as they've been targeted one by one, and you can still see the dominant force of Lit and the Merge clan up to the top right there. But they're just biding their time. I think at the moment these guys are just like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's 128 players remaining.
Are we going to get teleported to the final area?
So we could be very...
It's going to be the last few players.
Very
now.
close.
Oh my gosh, who's going to go in? Are they just going to... I'd say just rush it. If Lit realise this, they can just go in. They've got clearly way more members. They could take them down in an instant. I don't know what Falador's looking like, though. We've not checked that out or what's going on there. Oh, we can see Falador right now on the other screen. So Falador, again, a stalemate. Both teams looking for an opportunity to fly in and take out some members that are kind of overstretching themselves. And all that's what it
making
takes.
a move.
Here we are. They're going in. They're going in for the kill. I always appreciate the fact when you were saying about risk v reward. It's always good to see people just. Do you know what? Forget it. We're going to attack. Launch the offensive. Seems to be working for them at the moment, but at the same time, they're very spread out, whereas the opponents that they're attacking are clumped. They're now making a move across to the side of the area, trying to spread out to not get hit by those AoE effects. Obviously, it's vital that they don't lose too many members here.
Which they are, by the looks of things. We've just seen a few
at least
fall there.
3 fall there. And we've got to be really close now to the final 128. It's probably the last 2 or 3 people. As soon as they fall, all combat will stop. People will be on hold. We'll teleport them into the area, and that's when we start the 5 minutes preparation for the final fight until we get the finals.
Maybe at this point it's worth just sacrificing some members. No, there we go. They don't need to. As the 128 final players have gone into 1 versus 1 stage. I'm excited, my friends. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. But Anakal as well. Are they going to get teleported too?
We should see them, yeah. We'll see them teleport in just a moment now. We got one person that's actually getting taken
Is it
down.
64 from each area? It is 64 from each area. Okay, so this could go on for a little bit longer, and it means that Lit now has to decide, do they, go in for the kill? Do they maybe sacrifice a few of their lower level players that don't stand a chance at the 1v1 stage to ensure that their high level members can actually get through and give it a shot?
So we're getting some live news here coming through. Notable players remaining are Nate Bra, Mika, Yanked, MMORPG, Wiggled, and Moni.
Oh, wow.
All still alive. Could all be into the final 128.
And they will have a very good chance of going very far in the 1v1
That's really, really good watch. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
We've also got Brook. Brook is still alive. He's not fallen just yet.
He's gone through to the final, actually, I believe. With falls at the Falador, he was one of the last remaining players. So we're going to have a quick look at the 1v1 area, actually, I believe. There it is. So this is where the final action is going to ensue. And they're just waiting and biding their time until the final area has also been cleared out. And one at a time, they'll be given a chance, 5 minutes to just bank, get their stuff in order, change their spell book if necessary, and prepare themselves.
Here we go. You can see now the clan members are...
that's Wiggled going down.
Wiggled has perished. He unfortunately hasn't made it to the final
87 combat? He was quite low.
And there we have it, the final 64.
Oh, no, he was the last
He just
one.
missed out. Oh, poor him.
It looked like he was suiciding, though. He was out of the safe zone, taking constant damage.
Maybe he was sacrificing himself, like I said before, to make sure that other members that maybe were low on supplies could go through and allow themselves to rebank and go in for the 1 versus 1 stage. We're about to find out very soon.
All right, guys. Here we are. So we've just witnessed a rather hectic, I think, permadeath phase. We're about to move into probably even more hectic 1v1 stage, but we do have some quick words to say. Unfortunately, there was a series of apparently disconnections, and we're looking into this as much as we possibly can. Unfortunately, due to the nature of Deadman, these players that had disconnected during the tournament could not be brought in, and even if they could, they would have lost all of their items through dying. So this is the best we can do. We still have an incredible tournament ahead of us. This is potentially just the halfway point.
Yep.
As you guys know, the 128 does last a while. They get quite intense. We have the spectator mode coming up, and as you just mentioned, we have some really, really big names in this finale. Sorry. So I'm really looking forward to what we have coming up. But give me a quick recap, as I haven't actually been able to watch all of what's just happened.
We saw a couple of huge stalemates, both in Falador and up at the Demonic Ruins.
Yeah.
A large proportion of members that were split up into those 2 final areas were wiped out very early on, and then we saw them split and completely divide. Like Moses has parted the seas in both areas. They're sat on each corner and obviously biding their time to see what happens. And then just right at the end, both teams from each side ran straight in, eliminated everybody. We saw Wiggled fall at the end, and that put them in the last 64 people in that area.
Notably too, we saw Fools doing very, very well. Oh wow, Mankt hasn't made it through. Has it just been announced? I believe he's fallen. Unfortunately, the previous demo mode winner has died.
What is going on here? I don't... Manked Up Mage eliminated? He did not make it through. Oh, wow. That's confirmed. I thought it was some crazy twisted joke. It's actually genuine. Unlucky. Previous Deadman winner. Sorry?
He was one person off.
You were
from
one
being
person
great.
away. Oh, wow.
You hate to see it.
You do. You really do hate to see it. Well, I mean, we have two left on stage who are still in this finale.
Yeah.
We have Curtis. And we have Waka and PB.
Both representing huge clans. Lit, as we saw in the Anakal area, absolutely dominating throughout, with Mika as well, another content creator, and a few others too. Curtis now able to represent them on stage as a chance of that $30,000 grand prize altogether.
I wonder
Also,
how well he'll
Guac,
do.
Definitely. I mean, he's not really known as a 1v1er, but he's shown that he wants to get involved and he's enjoying it. So
I've seen Curtis practice his 1v1s. His No Honor Bridding, he was practicing in Clan Wars for the duration, preparing up for this tournament. He's actually pretty good. He really knows what he's doing. And he's done so many Deadmans now.
Well, I think for a lot of players in particular, for a tournament like this, the nerves must get to them. But Curtis streaming daily for years now to audiences of thousands of people, it's just like a walk in the park for him. He's cool, calm, like I said before, just taking it in his stride.
Made of iron, isn't he?
And made of iron. He's enjoying himself. That's what's important.
And Waka and PB, as we've mentioned, one of the most prolific PKers in our game in history. For over 10 years, this guy has been one of the best PKers, especially in like the Bounty Hunter creator days. Some really incredible videos from back then. So we're actually really excited to see how he does in this. Representing Fools. Fools haven't taken a Deadman yet.
Yeah, and we haven't seen much of Buck on a 1v1 level. For many, many years now, obviously, and he's come in. He's come over from Finland to represent his team on stage here today. It's fantastic, and
I saw his earlier. I saw him earlier. I saw his gear, and he knows what he's doing. I have faith in Wak, actually.
His gear is phenomenal.
It is.
And one thing, obviously, earlier on we were talking about how certain teams have some hidden strategies. They've got some tricks up their sleeves.
Well, can we talk about that now? I guess.
Yeah. So obviously Blazers, I don't know how many of them have made it through. Obviously we saw Wiggle die right at the end. We've seen Manked unfortunately perish right at the end as well. But they were talking about how they've had a secret strategy of how strong Verax, a Barrow's armor set, with the Ring of Suffering, and then a shield switch. So they were planning on, in the 1v1s, using Verax, hitting with the flail, switch into their shield in between every attack to make sure that they take minimal damage. And then if they get frozen and they try and their opponent is farcasting them or bolting them from a distance when they're out of melee range, they're just going to bolt back.
And obviously Verax has a 1 in 4 chance of hitting through both defense and through prayer, which makes it such a useful thing to use in an outlasting fight where you have limited supplies and you both start the same amount. So it should be interesting.
Apparently they tested it for hours and it had around a 95% success rate against full Tribrid.
Right, and what that was also switching to a shield when you're getting hit.
Yeah.
So it's not just wielding Verax.
Oh no, of course.
Melee
There's still skill. And
retaliate.
obviously, having to remember the defensive prayers too, getting them right as well, and being able to evade certain attack styles and certain combos. So.
Yeah. So I'm now actually going to head over and interview our remaining players on the stage. We'll do another interview post-show, but for the time being, I'm going to head over and I'm going to interview Waka and PB and MMORPG as they're still alive, still with a bit of a grin on his face. Buck, how are you doing? How confident are you feeling going into this 1v1?
So far, so good. I mean, I'm against Mika. Oh, sorry. It's about to begin.
So you're against Mika, a content creator, really rising with this Deadman, creating some really fantastic content. How do you feel going up against him? Do you think you're a better PK?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm pretty comfortable with this.
And do you think this is going to be the Deadman tournament Fools finally win?
Oh, sorry.
Do you think Fools are going to win this Deadman tournament?
I think so. Yeah, I think.
All right, well, best of luck to you. You got a tough opponent. He's actually really geared out, so good luck with that. Let's head over to MMORPG. Now, Curtis, you've got the Mystic, a little bit of a gear disadvantage here. Your opponent has Arams, but he's a lower combat. It's Graphist.
It's Graphist. Me versus Graphist is going to be a great fight. Content creators. He's a level 102. I've got the melee advantage. We're going to try and take this fight, take his Arams, and then we can take some more wins.
Have you seen Graphist's PKing skill? I think he's actually pretty good.
Yeah, he PKs basically on his streams all the time, but I'm not too sure how he is with hybriding, but I guess we're about to find out.
And how much have you practiced getting into this 1v1?
I practiced a few tournament fights before this today. We're definitely getting a lot better, but I guess we'll see how it works in the real time.
All right, well, best of luck to you, Curtis. We'll join you again after you either win or lose. We'll figure that out eventually. And now we're going to make our way back over to the couch. Join these casters, guys. So, predictions. We've seen who's in the finale. We've seen the two players still on stage that could take this home. What are your predictions?
I'm going to...
Go on, after you, Ben.
Thanks, Elliot. I'm going to stick with my initial prediction that with the info that I had from before, from the display of talent that's been showcased throughout the whole tournament, I think Fools are going to take it, and I think in particular Brook is going to be the final person to stand.
You think Brook
Really?
is going to win
I think
it?
he's going to go for it, yeah. He's got a very confident look on him. He's calm, collected.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what it means.
He seems very confident.
Some people mistake confidence with arrogance, but that was just pure confidence.
Yeah,
right there.
he was like...
And I believe in him.
He's cool as a cucumber.
He is.
So
I think Curtis is going to win.
Really? If he's going to go far?
It would be incredible.
He's got Mystic, but if he can get the gear upgrade, and
He's against Graphis in the first round, isn't he? And he's a much higher combat level than him. So if Graphis does have gear that he needs, that could be a huge momentum swing for him to push him further through the 1v1 stage.
Although Graphis, like Curtis did point out, does PK a lot, he doesn't tend to do much tri-breeding. He doesn't tend to do much of the no-honor overhead stuff.
Even on a main account, he has mostly pures that he plays on every day in Edgeville. So definitely new territory to him as well as Curtis.
Exactly. So I think this is, like I said, even though Graphis is more experienced in the player versus player content, I think Curtis is higher combat level, and they're both lacking experience in the tri-breeding department. So I think Curtis is actually going to take this one over Graphis. But I think on stage, Bwakheim PB out of the two is certainly going to go the furthest, and it's good to see how confident he is.
Yeah.
I think Fools are going to win this.
You think Fools are going to win this?
Yeah.
Well, we said earlier they have like 7 or 8 suffering rings, just saying, again, adding to how overpowered they are and how strong they are and how much benefit they give. So they've got a good chance of, really, really taking this one.
I'd love to see a solo player win this.
A solo player?
We have 128 people left. We don't know that all of those players belong to either Fools or Lit or whatever clan is remaining. There could very well be a solo player or somebody who's done well to blend in, as we've seen in the past. Rot have changed their names to blend in with Lit.
And steal the win.
It is not an uncommon strategy in Deadman to change names, blend in with the crowd, and just hope that nobody kills you. We could see somebody kind of rise from the shadows and end up taking this. $20,000.
That's what Mank tried to do, wasn't it? He tried to change his name. He was going to stream himself on his second qualified account, which was lower stats, overlay the stats of his actual main account, so it looked like he was playing his main account. He had some tricks up his sleeve.
Next level defense.
Obviously, it didn't really go to plan. Right, which is a shame because I thought that was quite smart.
So obviously we've been talking for a while here. What's been happening in the background is we've been giving the teams chance to resupply, change up their gear, swap out their spells. Obviously giving the team behind the scenes as well chance to look over all of the accounts that have qualified now. We're just still at the moment of letting them finalise all their preparations.
Oh, sorry, can I interrupt? I just saw these two guys talking to each other. One of them said, "You're going to win, but good luck." The other guy just a smiley face, have fun. Just that competitive but casual, spirit of good sportsmanship that you see. That's just awesome.
Yeah.
The spirit of Deadman.
A lot of the things though within PK, and it's that it's all about the thrill of the kill. Most people don't really care about anything else when it comes down to PvP. All they care about is just the kills and being able to show that they're better than someone else, and nothing else really matters.
Oh wow! I must say as well, actually, Bwak, we said earlier, he's probably going to go very far. He's actually up against in his first 1v1 Mika, who was
said this.
Oh, you did? Oh, sorry. I keep watching the screen and looking at who's fighting, but I don't think he's going to be able to beat Mika. Honestly, my money's on Mika.
Really?
I think Mika's going to take him.
Nah.
Mika came second place last time round,
Oh,
and he's a
you're
very
right.
competent hybrid, and he's got pretty much max stats. He's been playing all week, getting the best in slot gear as well.
He's a higher level.
I think
What
he's
is
got
the
this.
underdog? Have you seen him PK recently?
I saw his switches earlier, and I will say he's very, very competent, but so is Mika. It could go either way.
Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to this, guys.
We can
That
see
being
the
said,
switches. There we go.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have the great advantage here of being able to see their inventories.
Look at is he getting some one-tick four-ways in there, yeah?
He is, yeah.
Decent.
Oh, he's got
on a foreign setup as well.
So obviously going to poison his opponent.
All right, guys, we're gonna head underway with the 1v1s very shortly, but for the time being, it's actually time to take a look at a highlight package to show us what's just happened so far in the Deadman finale. Right, guys, and we're back. Madaiza has just made a sprint for the toilet, so he'll make his way back. But let's talk real quick about that replay package. We saw Robert, I think, one of the most notable deaths just there.
Being speared.
Robert has put in. He is rank 1 Deadman right now.
Yeah, overall.
Well, he was.
Yeah, he was. He has put in so much effort this time around. He's logged so many hours. He is relentless in playing every single Deadman season. I would have loved to see him at least in like the top 10.
Yeah.
That being said, actually, we've already arranged with Robert. He's going to be streaming the next season. He's one of the smartest people when it comes to strategizing and talking about the next season, explaining what to do, methods that people aren't really thinking about, the unconventional methods. And I think he's going to be really fantastic at teaching the newer players and the newer viewers how to play Deadman. So we're going to send a host his way. So if you're watching the stream, don't go anywhere. You can watch Robert take on the new season, learn a bit from him, steal his ideas, and you might be able to play in the next Deadman tournament.
He's progressed a lot as well, because when he first started playing Deadman mode, which is, where he made a name for himself.
Yep.
With the Dragon Dagger.
His strategy was getting the Dragon Dagger, getting really high strength, really high attack, running around and special attacking people, and basically one-hitting lower levels, or one-hitting people that were even higher, because his stats were so superior compared to theirs.
But his knowledge of the game in general as well has improved since then. I mean, this time round, this tournament, he's been doing the Monkey Madness 2 quest, so he can access the demonic gorillas, I believe they're called, and to get the Zenite jewelry and such. And his just overall knowledge of demo mode, like you said before, is on paramount to a lot of the players. So he's a lovely guy too. So definitely go check him out afterwards.
So moving into these 1v1s, there are a couple different strategies, right? The most famous is probably the Reg Ranger. So you're looking at people that potentially have invested in Vengeance, Ring of Suffering, they've got the Dehide, Auto Retaliate, and their trusty crossbow.
Yeah, so the reason why that works so well is because obviously the defense bonus of having all of that Barrow's gear makes you not invincible, but it makes it very difficult for people to actually do enough damage against you. Also, you can focus on just changing your defensive prayers and not have to changing out your offensive switches. With, in addition to that, obviously, range in general just hits through defense with the Diamond Bolt C especially really, really well. So, yeah.
It's the safest way to go, probably the easiest way to play it, but I think a really skilled Tribrid who knows how to death dot, time his attacks, change his prayers, preemptively force his opponent into changing into the wrong prayers, and all of those things combined can really take this one home. And that's exactly what we saw the last tournament. So many of those top 10 the last tournament were Tribrids, very, very skilled at the game. Just goes to show there is a solid skill gap, especially in the 128.
Certainly, and one thing that we're going to have to, I really, really want to look out for as well, is with the new addition of being able to actually see the players' inventories. I want to talk a little bit about how the game mechanics work, how RuneScape is run on a tick system.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about how fast people are switching from their gear, and we're going to see people switching 2 defensive pieces, which will be normally their top and their bottoms, and then their offensive pieces, which is going to be what they're going to have in their hand. And we're being counted down, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to
talking. We're going in conversation as we jump into the game. But the first 1v1 we're observing right now is actually Mika versus What on stage right now, and here he goes. Good luck to both of them. And straight off the bat, look at that, 39 whip. That's a huge hit, almost a max hit. And Mika taking so much damage, plus the Vengeance.
Oh my God, he's nearly killed him straight away. Did you see what he did there? So when I was talking about the game tick system, there's 0.6 seconds in a game tick. You can only do as many movements.
I take back what I said before. Look at What absolutely dominating right now. He actually chose to change to Vengeance before the fight started. Put up Avenge, and I'm pretty sure now actually he has Barrage too. And you can see him switching out, trying to catch the freeze. Maybe he can go for a step under, as we said before, Chris. And with that
he's doing so much damage.
Look at the inventory compared to him. He's got all his 5 food left, whereas Mika now has only 1 anglerfish and has drank like a whole brew.
He's killed him right there. He's praying incorrectly on pretty much all of Buck's hits here. At the very start, he had his crossbow out, and as soon as it said go, he pulled out his whip and hit him like a 30 straight away. That set the precedent for the fight. However, the tables are turning now.
Mika's got an absolute rampage.
We're seeing Mika doing a lot of damage. Buck's failing to get his prayers right. He's whipping him on his range twice in a row there. He's on the back foot. He needs to get himself healed up. He needs to keep bolting back, get himself healed up, and get back into a position whereby he can deal damage straight back to Mika here, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. He's full bar health now. It's okay.
So we're watching this one as the main one. We're also watching Curtis in his fight. We got a brief glimpse at that. He seemed to be holding his own. Now, importantly about this Mika and Wokheim PB fight is they seem to have the best gear out of everybody that we can see. We can see maybe a dozen fights right now if we pan out, but these guys have pretty much end game Deadman gear. Whoever goes on to win this could very well go on to win the entire thing. This could be the deciding fight, the very first fight it is.
Definitely.
but
Talking
look at
about
Graphist.
fights here now, Graphist v Curtis, MMORPG. This is going to be one to watch. We know that, as we were saying before, Curtis not the most prolific of PKers. Graphist, obviously, more known for his pure PKing and edge fighting than his hybrid in fights. There's a lot of difference in food. MMORPG has a huge amount less.
I was going to say,
comparison to
I think
Graphist.
that the main difference here is that Graphist has opted for pretty much an inventory of brews, which obviously each one, when you're high enough hit points, heals 16 at a time, making a brew heals 64 hit points, whereas Curtis has opted for the one-slot Dark Crabs, which don't reduce your stats, but only heal 22. So that's like 3 times as much damage you're going to heal per inventory space. So I'm not too sure what Curtis was thinking coming into this final, not having a whole inventory of brews like his opponents, and that's going to make a huge difference, and unless he can really, start dealing incredible amounts of damage and coming back against Graphist, he hasn't got much of a chance.
Well,
he needs the KO.
Yeah, you can see Graphist is completely outgearing him as well, though. Full barrows, he's got the Carol's bow as well.
Graphist still has special attack. Curtis has no special attack. He's out of food. This fight's over.
Yeah. Curtis has been, I think he's panicking now when he's on the back foot. He's prayed incorrectly for the last 5 hits. Graphist is just death dotting, standing straight underneath him after each attack. Yeah. He's maged him twice. He's tricked Curtis into praying mage, then he's going straight in for a whip. However, the tides have turned.
Curtis coming back now, doing the same tactic back again.
He's doing well. You got to respect it. He's holding his own. He's with worse gear. He's at a disadvantage. Graphist has been PKing for years. He is strictly a PKer. He's very, very good at this.
However,
it's no surprise.
Curtis is doing some significant damage back. He's getting unlucky with a few of those whip hits off prayer. Obviously, we can see Graphist has prayed incorrectly 3-4 times in a row. Curtis was super unlucky with those whip hits.
With 6 brews left and Curtis having nothing left, it's all over for him, I believe, at this point.
If we can remind you guys, a lot of these guys are streaming themselves.
Yeah.
So Curtis is streaming right now. It's very likely Graphist is streaming as well. We encourage you to load up as many streams as you want to, of course. Watch all of the action and see. We're going to follow all the big fights, but there are so many other fights going on right now, such as What versus Mika. And
Curtis is like MMORPG's bringing this back a little bit. He's been doing some considerable amounts of damage. We've got to remember as well that every time that Graphist sips a brew, one of those yellow potions that you can see in the inventory, his defense is going to increase, but all of his other stats are going to decrease.
Yeah.
That's going to mean that his magic level's going down, and magic level is very important for magic defense. So if Curtis MMORPG is able to do some damage, make Graphist take down those brews, lower his stats, MMORPG might have a chance to deal that little bit of extra damage.
I don't know, man. 4 brews is a lot to take down when you're on only 40 hit points.
He's going to KO him.
Oh, he gets the KO with D-ball hit. Oh, he could have killed him. 31 hit points.
Wow.
He could have hit that with 99 range, I believe Curtis has from the Kurasks. That could have been the win there, and that would have been absolutely devastating for Gravis going down like that.
That's the thing.
Hold out until he gets 100% spec. He's got a G maul.
I think people have instantly just said, Curtis can't win this. Graphist has such a significant amount more food than Curtis does. However, we're forgetting that Curtis, if he does loads of combo damage, he can just take him out.
He could have killed him right there.
He can kill him right now. Graphist is playing wrong. Graphist panicking. MMORPG is going nuclear.
He could have got him there if he got a good barrage hit. And still, he's brewed down Graphist right now, drinking loads of brews, chugging, just going for the range hits, not even worrying about doing any switches.
If he can make it to 100%
Curtis
spec.
only has 23 hit points left. And yeah, you're right.
They're both so low.
Spec,
They're both so low.
Which might be too late. But 1 brew left for Graphist. And Curtis has done an absolutely fantastic job here of coming back. Here comes the G-Ball. 0-0. Oh my gosh, so close. Wow. He put up a great
What
fight.
a valiant effort from Curtis right there. He was on the back foot the entire fight. He'd almost depleted his entire inventory of
Talking
food.
about this, Brooks nearly falling down here.
Oh, he gets comboed out as well by Mika, like I said before. Wow.
Walkman PB out of the game. There goes our on-stage talent out of the game.
Altogether.
Dying to the online talent. That is Mika and Graphist.
What an incredible round of fights, though, that we've just seen there. I mean, Curtis at the time was 4 brews down, managed to get it to the single brew sip of Graphist. And even at that point, it was 5 HP.
That's all of our predictions are in the bin.
My money's
there goes everything.
My money's on Mika to keep going forward, though.
Yes.
And I will say as well, Curtis, obviously, he was in this just to get to the 1v1 stage, to put on a show, to enjoy himself. Yeah. That's what he's done. He's delivered. He got that far. So respect to him and kudos.
Curtis has to be proud of that performance. He did extremely well. I'm sure we have many claps in the chat. He's also had an incredible week leading up to this tournament.
The other thing is, if he had the bruise like Graphist did, I think he would have taken that win. So he's going to be kicking himself now, thinking back if that was the best strategy to go for.
It was so close, and There were a couple of opportunities that we saw where Curtis could have quite easily killed him. I feel bad for Curtis after that, but a valiant effort nonetheless.
So looking at this fight here now, we've got Blood Teller v Potato Dog 21.
Oh, Potato Dog.
So Potato Dog has seemed to opted for a full tank setup. It's worked out in his favor and it's just taken down.
So if you're wondering what's going on with these consistent hits right now, these really low hits, essentially with these 1v1s, what could happen is two friends or two teammates from the same clan could be matched up together. It's completely randomized. So we have to incorporate a damage ticking system. Over time, we give them a few minutes to fight it out. If the fight's still going on, or they're not fighting, this damage will come in and just kind of push one of them to die first.
Yeah.
They're dropping like flies now. Mages just died there to DI Swifty.
Trying to use the redemption
And
to
they
stay alive.
both out of food there as well, so that was incredibly close.
I mean, it comes right down to it, doesn't it? Things like the Ring of Suffering that was before, 2 sharks difference will make a huge difference in this really nail-biting finale.
Completely.
We've seen pretty much every fight that we've seen so far come down to the wire. I'm assuming possibly my inability to actually see what his armor is, was that a Blazers member with the Verax? Or?
I think he had, no, he didn't have Verax. He had Guffin's helmet and some carols and such.
So that
we've not
there
seen
is
the
going
Verax
to
yet, though, have we?
conclude the round of 1-2-8. We're going to be moving into the round of 64 now.
Yeah.
So what are we going to see different here? We've obviously seen some fights. What's really going to be different?
Well, for a start, obviously, like we said before, Graphis there had a much better, unique setup and way more brews, way more food than Curtis did. From now on, both players will be reimbursed with their supplies to have exactly equal amounts, same potions, same food, which means that all that really comes down to is who's got the better gear, who's got the better account they've been training over the past 8 days, and ultimately, who's got the better skill to really take it to the final and take home some money.
It's interesting because those fights that we've just seen there, pretty much all of them came down to the wire, regardless of people having different invent setups. When they have the exact same invent setup, these could be, you know, tooth and nail.
Here we are into the round of 64, and the first fight that we're going to be able to spectate is Mika again, fighting against Setiki Kato.
All right, well, I'm going to stay here.
What this might be is a name change. This very well could be a big streamer who has like quadruple name changed and is trying to hide. We've found them, but we don't have confirmation just
I mean, being 91 combat, though, versus 124, Mika's got a distinct advantage
Look
here.
at the difference in inventory as well. What? On the left here, we can see... I'm not going to try and pronounce seat.
The level 91.
Yep.
The level 91.
Oh, Dalek Cookie.
We have Baylet Cookie as well versus then Adrisuja. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name either. 119 combat versus 101. And is that full Verax we see there? It is full Verax.
It is full Verax with the shield switch, with Vengeance. This could be the winner.
So this... Obviously, like when I was talking to the Blazers members, they said that their secret strategy was full Verax. Obviously, there's a 1 in 4 chance of it completely going through.
Every time the
protect from
pink little
melee
cloud
and the
comes up.
defense. Yeah, we see that visually with the cloud. And well, that's indicative of obviously some Blazers members still being alive. I was worried that they'd all be wiped out, and we see none of them in here. But fortunately, there is one, so we can see the power of the Verax right here.
But look at Dalek Cookie doing the 2-way switch, have some extra defense bonus for those hits, and then putting on the Carol's hood and the black D-hide body to go for the actual hits themselves.
Yeah, she's going quite
Dalek
hard.
Cookie, not one of the most renowned PKers.
No.
Right? Not known for PKing, but incredible at PVM and just old school in general. You can see her flicking the tank armor on the defensive hits, taking it off, putting back the offensive armor on the actual offensive hits. And prayer switches are probably going to be on point. Somebody who's as good as she is at the Inferno, for example, getting into a 1v1 with overhead prayers.
She is about to die.
Well, she's doing... Yeah, she's going to get combat.
Well, she managed
to get the combo
Yeah, you're right. She's doing what she knows best, and that is, concentrating on those overhead prayers, like you said before, to minimize the amount of damage that is dealt to her. Obviously, overhead prayers reduce damage by 40%, so getting them right on the right game tick, as we said before, is absolutely essential to having the best chance of going far. Although saying that, the Vengeance right now is dealing so much damage, and currently the then level 119 with full Verax is doing very well, and he's got a lot more food left.
Yeah.
So the great thing about this fight here, obviously, utilizing the full Verax, everyone's well aware from the last tournament that we haven't made huge amounts of changes in terms of the items and armor that you can bring. Everyone was stacking tank gear. Range tank was the meta. Verax, obviously, as we spoke about, goes through defenses. Dalek Cookie then nearly dropping.
The combination that we're seeing from this Verax is, I mean, we've been told how powerful it is, but seeing it right here, the combinations that they're getting is absolutely incredible. They've not hit a 0 for 6 hits now.
Oh, look at DS Spec 001, what was that, like 35 HP, could kill him for prayer. And again, I believe Dalek Cookie should be eating here, but what is she doing? She's just sitting there with 4 food, 5 food left, and just taking damage. She's got to eat up a little quicker. There we go, now she's starting to do it.
What was interesting there, actually, was where Dalek Cookie used Vengeance. the level 119 decided to pull out the Dragon Dagger and spec. And
is that why he did it? To hit low damage?
I think he did it because he knew that Dalek Cookie having Prey Melee up would mean that obviously his hit would be lower, meaning that the Vengeance effect would be less harmful to himself.
And special attack-wise, obviously now the level 119 with Varrock actually has 60%, so he has 2 Dragon Dagger specs left, whereas Dalek Cookie has no special attack weapon whatsoever.
And no food.
And no food
Which
now,
is probably the most important part of this. I don't mean to be cynical, but I think this is the end of the road for Dalek Cookie.
Unless the redemption comes in.
Yeah.
Well
the
played,
Dalek Cookie, guys.
The disrespect. It's a Fools member, I believe. Hashtag Fools we saw there, so not a Legends member.
So here we have Plank and Sermal Wolf, it looks like. Level 100 versus 113. Trying to make out what these gear setups are. Sermal seems to have just gone with range, strictly range. And here we can see Plank has a little bit of melee with the leaf-bladed axe there, and Plank is clearly winning.
Yeah, interesting.
I'd really like to see that.
The Leaf Blade Battle Axe being the same game tick delay as the Rune Crossbow, so, you know, keeping that kind of momentum going, understanding when to switch weapons, and it being very consistent with the 2 weapons. And also, the Leaf Blade Battle Axe in its own right is the same strength bonus, I believe, as an Abyssal Tentacle.
Yep.
So it is a really strong weapon.
And you'll notice another thing about the Leaf Bladed Battle Axe is it has mechanically a strange stall to it. So when you'll see Pink pulling out the, is it Poink or Plank? Sorry. When you see Plank taking out the Leaf-Bladed Battle Axe, if we can actually go back to that fight, you'll see that his character won't move straight away. His attack and the damage would have actually been dealt before his character moves, so it's harder for the opponent that he's fighting against to actually pray accordingly to that attack.
So the fight here, we have You See My Cat versus Armadil is 007. There's 1 Karambwan left for Armadil, and 3 Sharks and 1 Karambwan left for You See My Cat.
Again, we're seeing that the combat difference here really playing a crucial part in these fights. A lot of the level 100 pluses are just dominating the level 80s and 90s, which is why it makes it so crucial that throughout the whole week, you spend all your time, you know, training up your stats to be as high as possible. And there we go, Armadil goes down, and You've Seen My Cat, the little pet cat following him, going through to the next round.
And here we are back with the Plank fight. Now, something that's really interesting is you have to wonder how many players drank an anti-fire potion when they were having access to the bench.
Oh, look at these specs, sorry, Chris.
Dragon
almost KO'd him out. Very, very close.
These Dragon Bolts could be life-ending, right? You can hit 60s with these things.
Yeah, you can
there
hit
we have it.
huge
Plank has just taken the fight over Sermal Wolf. But you know, you are completely right. If people haven't taken anti-fires, we're talking large hits, 50s.
Potential KOs.
Yeah.
Right now we're just seeing Outlast. We're not seeing any KOs. I want to see a KO.
I want to see a KO as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we can see some of these DDS specs come in.
I want to see a Dalrox KO, but we can't have anything we want. So unfortunately, School 6 didn't make it to the final. So
Yeah. Okay.
so that's out of the picture.
So resuming our quick chat, recapping that final wave, what's essentially happening here is we're letting our players get ready for their next fight, but more importantly, we're letting our anti-cheating specialists give another quick look at the accounts. That last round resumed very quickly, which means that they've already done all of the looking into all of these accounts. So all of these guys are legitimate, which is great to hear. So we're looking forward to seeing the next round. Predictions going into this one, I think we still have Graphist. We still have Nico.
I don't know why I'm surprised, but I'm surprised at the power of that Verax coming in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see that person take it all away.
I agree there. Next fight coming up right now, we're jumping into it, and I believe we have Wiggle DMM versus 17 at DMM. It's not Wiggle, it's one of the solo players, I'm pretty sure. Aiza, you have the information about that guy there.
I'll see if I can find out that for you, Ian.
Yeah, Wiggle DMM, a really competent member. He's got the Arams, he's got the Mage setup, and he's against what looks to be a Rag Ranger at level 102 combats. He's got 10 combat levels higher than him. He's got 3 switches that you can use, melee range, and, melee range and melee, magic.
We can see that
He's got double whips going now.
We can see that Wiggle DMM is very, very competent.
Yeah.
He's constantly changing and what we call faking. Constantly faking and changing what he's wearing to try and trick his opponent. You see there, he pulled out his mage gear and then at the last second changed his whip to make sure that he hit him off the prayer.
Well, yeah. I do have something to point out. Now, there might be a mistake here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wiggle DMM has water runes and blood runes.
Yeah.
Where are the
death runes? Has he forgotten his death runes? It looks like he has, or maybe he just maybe he came into this with just range and melee, and then picked up some of the stuff off the floor from his last opponent.
You're
but
right.
yeah, with no death runes, he has got a bunch of switches that he can't do anything with.
So
which
he's
means
faking the mage.
Yeah.
But he's faking it because that's all he can do.
No, maybe he's faking the mage so that people think that he's going to mage. Because mage obviously is a lot more inaccurate than potentially range or melee, he's making them pray mage.
But why bring 2 runes and not
Why?
the third?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't think that's the case. I think either there's been a tragic case of events where he's actually forgotten the runes, or
dropped them.
he's managed to loot this gear throughout and not managed to get himself any death runes, which from this kill, if he manages it, he won't either.
I'm curious to check out the other fights personally. I'd love to see what other names are still in this one. I'm seeing the one next to us is actually pretty intense. We see Infinity Boots, Crystal Shield, the upgraded Mage Cape. We've got, that guy is a tank.
A whip and everything, full arrows, full barrows gear. And the guy's actually smashing it as well. I can see it come in my eye. When we can jump over to that fight in a second.
Just to point out on this fight there, sorry, Wiggled DMM appears to be a Finnish player, so possibly affiliated with Fools. We can't confirm that exactly.
I'm pretty sure he is, because I'm sure he was trying to kill me at Barrows the other day to feed his Finnish clan.
However, 17 and DMM is also from Finland.
What? So do you
no.
Do you think they're just fighting each other for
They're
fun?
so strong.
Well, they don't mind, really, do they, if whoever goes through? Because like Iomeri said before to us, a win for Finland is a win for Fools kind of thing. They don't really care who goes through any particular player. They just want to win so they can buy that house, have a massive party,
have a good
enjoy
time.
themselves, which is what they deserve if they go through.
Definitely, definitely. I think Wiggled DMM is going to take this one, though. He has... he's got a few more sharks.
They're the Dragon Balls that are coming in. Unfortunately, range protection actually reduces damage by 40%, and the Mage Prey actually completely stops the Dragonfire effect from taking any effect whatsoever.
I wonder if 17 has realised that he's not used Mage once. But we have got intel that Graphis has perished. He killed Curtis. He killed his next opponent. Unfortunately, he has fallen in round 3 of the 1v1. So fair play. A round of applause for Graphis, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, what's interesting here is their food is quite evenly matched. Their gear and stats are quite evenly matched. However, Wiggled DMM has messed up in bringing Mage gear without the death runes, which means if he loses this fight, it's purely because of that.
Well, potentially, but also you've got to keep it into account. I think this whole fight he's been doing very, very well and really, dominating. But 17 DMM has some really nice combos there, and now there's only a 2 food difference. So for someone that's 10 combat levels lower, he's getting exceedingly lucky. Plus his gear is much lower as well. He's only got Dragon on, and he's taken now into account that Wiggled DMM hasn't cast a barrage once. So now every time Wiggled is doing it and chucking on the mage, he's not changing Mage Prey. He knows it's a fakie, and he's learned from those mistakes from before.
And he has 100% spec left.
He's still
with a DDS.
He's still very slow at changing his prayers, though. I'm seeing Wiggled getting a lot of whip hits, like back to back. There's one. And there's going to be another, I think.
It's honestly neck and neck right now. Even with the food taken into account, they both have about 70 HP remaining. It's going to come right down to the wire. Wiggled, obviously, if he starts eating food here, he can't attack for a few more game ticks.
Dropped.
Yeah.
And he's got no prayers. He got no prayer at all. Wasn't even prayer flicking.
Food.
That's a huge advantage for 17 and DMM now, who's going to hopefully be able to take this win potentially. We're at the same HP right now, but those overhead prayers absolutely smashing the defensive up. And he's got full spec as well. I'm not sure why he's not dumping the spec yet with the DDS, but that could literally win the fight from right now.
Doesn't need to.
He doesn't even need to. No. Range just hitting through so consistently. Really, he doesn't believe it. Wiggled DMM going down.
Not
someone
happy
10
about that
levels
one.
lower. Wow.
I can't help but feel bad for the guy for getting those roots.
I was looking at it like, surely he's messed up.
Yeah, imagine if it was probably likely that in the 5-minute banking period he accidentally banked the runes, didn't realise, got
That's
more
hilarious.
food, and then...
Very unfortunate.
Yeah,
not hilarious.
Is that full guffins that I see on the guy on the right?
No, surely not.
No, I think it genuinely is. I think he has the hat on, or rather the helmet, and the skirt, and then in his inventory he's got the top and the weapon. Not too sure when that would come into effect, but maybe now he's going to go for it.
I don't think.
Am I seeing things, or is he wielding tactics?
He's wielding tactics. It's a Verax helm, so he doesn't have the full Guthans switch.
It looks like it's full Guthans, but maybe I'm wrong.
But why would he have the spear if he doesn't have the Guthans switch? Surely that is a Guthans.
I think it's Guthans. And but obviously coming out the wire again here, both players are very low HP. The fog going to make the difference here, and they both go down together. But who goes down first?
Was looking at the wrong guy. That was Tacits on the floor right there.
Oh, okay.
He might be picking them up, actually.
I wonder if he'll loot the Tacits and use them. Obviously, they have the They have the best strength bonus for a bottom half piece of armor in the game.
And good range defense bonus.
Really do.
Defense, yeah.
But they're not as tanky as the Barrows pieces.
But not Guthin's plate skirt is not the tankiest.
That's true.
It is.
Like,
That is true.
I'd be using those tassets.
Yeah.
I'd ditch the spear. Because Guthin's isn't going to do anything in this tournament.
I'm pretty certain he had a Verax helmet on as well.
I'm thinking you're looking at the other guy who had the tassets. Because he had a Verax helmet.
Oh, okay. Right,
Yeah.
my bad.
So on that point, I think that was the end of the round of 64. So we're going to be moving into the round of 32. Things are really getting heated now. It's not long until we get into those semi and then the final. And wow, I cannot wait.
At this point, these fights are just about costing money. You have to think, like, what are your chances getting in the top 32? There's $32,000. It's 20 grand to the winner, 12 grand spread across the remaining contestants. You must feel that pressure getting into that fight. You get shaky, you get nervous.
It takes Jad hands to the next level.
Yeah.
For sure. I like that.
It's the Deadman mode hands. And here we are, straight into the round of 32. First fight here is going to be... There we go.
My AGS now?
It looks like my AGS now v...
Full Darox.
He has a God Sword! Oh my god, is that a Saradomin God Sword on the left-hand side?
And full Darox.
122 combat with against the full Darox. This is the dream come true, quite literally. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, the Saradomin God Sword, for those that don't know already, is a weapon obtained from God War's Dungeon, from Saradomin, the God War's Dungeon boss. And what it does is you have a chance to heal HP and to heal prayer points, which is fundamentally so important, as we saw before, of certain people, you know, who have low prayer and they run out of prayer, and it makes the difference. So that Saradomin God Sword is also extremely accurate, although extremely slow. The Darox, on the other hand, if you get down to low HP...
Look at that. He's sat very low HP.
Oh,
he might be risking it a bit too much. I think he could have actually died.
You got to respect these risks. Now, with Rai, what's interesting with the God Sword is as soon as he pulls that out, his opponent, my AGS now, will figure that out. He needs to time that switch perfectly. If he uses the SGS, uses it on Prey Melee, his opponent will know from now on, oh my god, I need to Prey Melee at all times.
Yeah.
But if he can sneak it in there, potentially heal like 40 hit points.
Just look at the HP, the food difference. That was the first food that Rinnia has actually eaten this fight, and now the Darok guy, I'm afraid, unless he gets a really lucky combo, which he could do, he could hit like an 80 or a 70 if his stats are high enough. 105 combat, maybe not, but he has a chance with the Gmaul 2 to stack over full HP damage if he gets lucky enough. Which, if Rinnia doesn't see the Daroks coming in, doesn't Prey Melee at the right time, it could well happen.
And Rai is playing this well. He's keeping a distance. You can see Rai trying to step aside.
He might pull out the axe here.
That could be it.
I think he's being a little bit overzealous here. He's pulled out the God Sword. The first swing, here's a 0 off the prayer as well. He had the Prey range up. That could have been fatal.
The other thing as well is obviously Rinnia has Vengeance right now. So if Maya just now actually...
Oh
my
my god!
What is being comboed out?
That was so close.
It's a KO.
He was so overzealous with the Daroks then.
Taking way too many risks for him.
So here we have Mika against So Gangster. Mika with more food available than So Gangster.
He has a ring switch too. He has the Ring of Suffering in his inventory, which I assume it means he's wielding maybe a Seer's Ring imbued or something like that. We can't see what's in his ring slot right now. But Mika, like I said before, second place last tournament, has a really good chance of going far right now. And So Gangster just can't keep up. He has 4 sharks left compared to Mika's almost full inventory. Wow, it's so one-sided right now.
Mika is incredible. So well, he came second place last tournament. He may very well win this one.
What he's doing right here is extremely clever because he's freezing his opponent, he's standing underneath him, and then when he comes out to do more damage, he's making sure that he's standing on a square that's diagonal, which means that his opponent, if he's trying to hit him with melee, he cannot. He has to hit him with either magic or
He can
range.
only win with Lucky Granite Maul. It's the only way he's going to win. Lucky Granite Maul Venge combo.
I mean, he has 100% spec, so it could happen. The Granite Maul obviously having an instant special attack weapon, so being able to deal 3 hits in I believe, 2 game ticks, which you can't really defend against unless you get lucky or eat on the right game tick.
As much as I believe in the comeback, I think this is going to be the end of the road for So Gangster.
Oh, well, with like 8 sharks left, I don't think, or 10 sharks left even maybe, I don't think it's going to happen, man.
Now, what do you think about multiple bolt switches?
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So we have Emerald Bolts E, which have the poison effect, which goes into play, and it's very, very consistent. Now, that poison damage in these 1v1s, you can't actually, anti-poison from it. You haven't got the potions to do so. So it does stack up, but it doesn't involve having an extra inventory space. And I believe Mika's going to take this win here. And what other bolts does he have, actually, Chris? I believe they're diamond bolts.
It looks to me like diamond, yeah.
And potentially onyx as
well.
well.
They penetrate defense as well. So obviously diamond bolts have a chance of proccing, which means that basically there's a chance that they will completely ignore defense, similar to the Verax armor that we saw before. And Mika has actually taken that win A valiant effort from his opponent, So Gangster. Unfortunately, he just couldn't compete.
A lot of us were thinking beforehand that this would be the case of a lot of the range tanks going really far, but we've seen time and time again that the hybrid meta is the best thing to use for these PKers.
You love to see that. So many people saying, oh, it's just going to be a tank range
That's why,
with auto-retaliate,
myself
we'll win
included.
it.
I thought it was going to be the case, but no.
I was in there saying, no, a skilled hybrid will win this
You were
tournament.
adamant, and do you know what?
Hopefully.
Actually, you were right. It looks like everyone is taken on the hybrid. They're looking for the perfect attacks against the wrong switches.
Yep.
And as we've said, regardless of how good your defense is, if you're doing the right attacks at the right time, you always have statistically a better chance of dealing more damage, and it's showing here.
I've got some notes from that last round. We have Rainia, who is a UK player who appears to have previously been in Rot, or maybe still is in Rot.
That's the
Rot
person that
actually
had the
might
God
win.
Sword, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And then we have So Gangsta, a player in Fools. So I really appreciate Mod Sweden starting to get us this information.
I think Rainia actually is in Rot, potentially, because I believe Rot has been camping God War's Dungeon.
Yeah.
That was the insider info that we didn't want to release, but yeah, we heard people were doing God War's Dungeons. We were waiting to see if an item would come up. Didn't want to ruin the surprise, and well, we've seen it there.
I got sent a gif of one of Rot's leaders alking a Saradomin Hill in this Deadman mode tournament.
I think that was fake. I think that was
I think it possibly
edited
was.
video. Because he still has...
And here we go. So as I was mistaken, the last round wasn't
Here
the
he
round
is,
of
right
32,
here.
it was round of 16, which means
We're
this
back
is
to
now
the
the
Star
round of
Godsword.
8.
Oh, really? So this is the game decider of who takes home money, right?
Yeah, so basically we've got first place winning 20,000, second place is 10,000, and then third and fourth each will get 1,000, and then the remaining 12 players will get a year's worth of membership, I believe.
Yep. This is a really, really important fight.
And both members here obviously have
Great
the full
looking,
tribal
very
gear
strong.
as well.
He's got the rune pouch, the soul runes for blood barrages. The Sarah Godsword, on the other hand, in multiple bolt switches.
Yeah, so Saradomin Godsword, not typically a weapon that you would see used in PvP. You'd typically see the Armadyl Godsword for the higher damage. But when you're talking about a situation where you're limited in terms of food, you're limited in terms of prayer, the Saradomin Godsword special, if he gets a good hit, that's going to give him HP and prayer back. It could be really well utilized.
I would say right here in this fight, I believe Raymet, although he might not have the best gear sub compared to Rainia, he is out DPSing him like crazy, and he's getting all the prayer switches right. You can see by his switches. Well, apart from that, you can see from his inventory. DC is saying? Well, you can see from his inventory. Look at that respect as well, making sure he's not DC, making sure everything's okay.
He's still killing him.
Still killing him though. Yeah, exactly. And in inventory as well, we said before, Raymet, if you see his switches, he's doing like 4-way 1-ticks as well, which is has he DC'd potentially? Is that what you're saying?
No,
are they
he's
both
fine.
lagging?
We have a skilled ranger versus a skilled hybrid. This is a perfect fight for a Deadman finale. You almost wish this was the ending 1v1.
I think Raymet is having some problems here, as he's not eating any food. He's dropped his prayer for some reason, and really going for the SGS spec while he can, hitting a 0. But if Raymet doesn't start eating soon, it's all over for him, and he was displaying some serious power beforehand.
That is really unfortunate.
He was looking like he was going to take that one home, but no, he goes down. Next up, we have then Adinula, level 119 combat, who has the full Verak, like you said before, and actually losing or potentially just about coming in. He's got 3 sharks, 3 doses of brew, 2 Karambwans. The luck of the Verak's actually hitting here, having the effect come into play, is so crucial.
To see how strong this is. And he actually has the Dragonfire Shield as the switch as well in between the hits.
Is that full Darox again to the right? It is. 122 combat
so,
with the full Darox. Let's go. I want to see like a big 80 being hit here. And the DFS though, one of the tankiest shields in the game, if not the tankiest.
How about this, Ian? How about this?
Oh,
right? He gets down low HP. As we can see, Jazz is out of food right now. And he's always bolting back, but he's pulled out the DDS. The DDS off prayer there as well. What I think he needs to do here is he needs to constantly bolt, trigger his opponent into prey in range, and just pray that he hits a huge axe hit with the Darox.
But unfortunately,
he's dead.
Wow.
That's not going to happen.
The Verak's meta, I think it's going to take
It's
it home.
prevailing. The Verak
doing
is
very well.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see how Verex will go up against someone who's doing full hybrid, though.
Yep.
Because the melee damage overall is going to be inconsistent.
A ballista.
Mika almost getting the combo there. And yeah, the Ballista, like you say, Ballista obviously having two-handed weapon, but the range strength of it is absolutely monumental. You can hit, I think, 50s in this game, maybe 40s with Eagle Eye, which compared to the rune crossbow, much more consistent too, but you lack the shields, your defense bonus is lower. Now, if Mika can take this win here from 9-4-6-4, it means that he can acquire that Ballista and make his account and his setup all the more, strong and have a better chance of going through.
And Ballista is incredibly powerful.
But it's such a close neck-and-neck fight right now with 9-4-6-4 down to 1 brew and 1 shark compared to Mika with only 2 sharks remaining.
And all these players bringing Emerald Bolts, it seems, the meta seems to be for these players at least, is to bring the Emerald Emerald Bolts, get the first hit, get the poison in, put them away, pull out the Dragon Bolts.
Yeah.
It's all about the wear down, though, because obviously people aren't going to throw away a food slot for an anti-poison. Ultimately, they weigh it up and probably saying it's not worth it. Maybe now after seeing this, they'll reconsider in the future.
Yep. Or even like super anti-poisoning when they have that bank access earlier. We don't know how long that.
They're Onyx bots,
would have
I
brought
think,
you this
just
far.
using them right there. It's interesting to see as well because obviously at the start of this fight when we started spectating, Mika got an opportunity to KO 9464. Unfortunately, he hit huge, then went straight in for the barrage. The barrage hit a 0, and obviously we can see now that 9464's brew dose is completely gone. He's out of food. Mika is also out of food.
And that's where experience really comes into this.
Down to the wire.
I've seen Mika being very consistent with his switches and
there
taking
it
the
is.
kill
He's managed
there.
to take it home.
He was
Both out of food.
He was staying so cool throughout that, not making any mistakes, and I believe that's what gave him the advantage. You know, he's been in this position before. He's had the experience. He knows exactly what he's doing. And right here, 122 combo versus 121 on the right. Both no supplies left. Both down to 40 and 60 HP. A 38. That could be all over for him. Poking him to death.
poke.
Go on. Finish him off. 0-0 DDS. That's so unfortunate.
On 3 HP. He's flicking the redemption
tanking like a
prayer as
machine,
well.
isn't
He really isn't having the best of luck here, is he, unfortunately?
Wow, so many zeros. Is he going to come back? No,
there he is.
unfortunately
There
not.
Yeah, he perished.
So
That was
just
a
a
close
quick
one.
note on this fight here. We're seeing a lot of names with random characters. What we've been doing in the background is some of these people have had a few naughty names that needed changing. And it's very likely that in the time limits that we have, we're unable to be creative. So they've just been given a few random letters.
Okay, I chose him something like worse. I don't know, something funny, not a bunch of random gibberish.
Well,
And on that note,
so now we're on to the top 4, right?
yeah. So now that was the last 8. So we're going into the quarterfinals.
Which means that Mika, once again, has made it into the top 4. Potentially, if he wins the next round, the top 2, a chance to money
Incredible.
again.
I mean-
Are they guaranteed money now?
So yeah, first place 20,000, second place 10,000, third and fourth 1,000 each.
Well, he's made some money. Then he can give us a pat on the back. That's actually insane for him to do. And I really do think that he can go all the way. Although the biggest challenge for him right now is how is he going to fare against the Varak guy who has just obliterated everyone he's come up against. It's not been a close call either. Whereas Mika's kind of clutched a few wins, so it could go
He
either
has
way.
been shown in a considerable amount of skill though in these fights. Everyone that you've seen, he has been incredible. The right
Mika's
switches.
been really composed. He's been making sure that he's utilising the freeze and stand under, and he's not been panicking at all.
He's super consistent.
When he's like completely out of food as well, so massive respect to Mika for that.
And
Let's find out
we're
what
back with Rynia, who apparently very well might be a ROT member. And this Jad guy, I'm thinking, it looks like he might be a Finnish player.
Oh, really? And his switches are actually on point too. He's doing extremely well, putting on the tank on the right ticks, making sure he can tank up as much time as he can, but then putting the rose back on to hit those big mage hits, although Rynia retaliates by getting his prayers up pretty much right on time. Both players here, not much difference between them, is there, Elliot?
No, we're seeing a lot of skill being displayed by Jad here. He's, like you said, he's putting on his tank gear to make sure that he's fully defended against the bolts of Rynia, and then he's one tick in his attack of his mage straight out. You see a hit of 27 there off the prayer, and he's faking his staff straight in for whips, and he's always Rynia could have killed him there. He's literally one step ahead of Rynia this entire fight. Rynia has fallen for every fake switch that he's throwing at him.
And of course, if Jad's now win this fight, he does get the gear. He gets the SGS, which can, really will make a huge difference. Being able to deal damage, a lot of damage as well, saying that, as well as obviously healing your prayer and healing your HP.
We've seen a couple of people run out of prayer and die because of it, so maybe the SGS, it could be the difference between the win or the loss.
This is such a one-sided fight. Jad has his full inventory of sharks left, although he's actually used a brew, and Rynia still has the whole brew, but used a lot of his sharks. So, I mean, it's hard to tell who's got the advantage here,
When
but
do
it
you
could go
think
either
is
way.
the optimal time to use the brew?
I think the reason why they use it first right at the start is so they don't have to eat food, because every time you eat a food, there is a delay. You have to wait a few extra game ticks before you can deal more damage again. The brew being a potion, although it lowers your stats, if utilized efficiently, the time between your stats being lowered and you then restoring them back up again and repotting is minimal. So using the brew first, I guess it's personal preference, really. It depends. It's situational.
You can get some damage in there while you're sipping the brew.
Exactly, yeah, you can keep
Start the
attacking.
snowballing effect.
Exactly.
As soon as you make your opponent eat, if you can keep that damage up, you can just about win the fight.
The obvious downside to it is, though, obviously, if you're at the start of the fight and you're wanting to maximize your damage per second by using your brews early on, you could find yourself in a situation whereby you get comboed, and you, obviously, with how a brew works, you can eat a shark and then sip a brew straight after, so it combos the two consumable foods. If you have used all your brews, you're getting comboed out. You need to heal more than the 20 that a shark heals you. You're unable to, and you can die.
Mika, again, absolutely dominating this fight. Although saying that, they're actually pretty similar food right now. Ven is currently with 3 sharks, 2 Karambwans, and 3 just a brew. Mika has no brew left, so he needs to come back here. The poke is not going to help him. And this is showing, again, the hardest fight he's going to have potentially against the Varax. If he can take this guy down, the DFS having huge defense bonus. Oh, the Onyx Bolt proc coming in. The Onyx Bolt, of course, healing HP depending how much damage you deal. Plus the Blood Barrage as well.
Wow.
Also further
and he
healing
just
HP.
He just DDS spec'd him off his prayer as
really?
well.
Oh,
that
man.
was so close. That could have been a KO. I think he was sat around 52 HP when that DDS came in. He had his Carol's top, which is low defense.
Mika is turning the tides right now, and if he can catch the next freeze as well, it's going to be really crucial for him.
If Mika wins this, he gets himself full Varax.
Yeah, for
With
the final.
his skill and full Varax, he's looking very strong.
And just to mention again, last time round, he came second place. He took home $10,000.
Yep.
So this time round, it could potentially be $20,000. Time and time again, he's proven himself worthy of being here. And he's actually starting to come back, and he's got 3 sharks left compared to 1 shark and 1 Karambwan. So it's going to take a lot for them to have some good Varak hits to come back and win this. But they're stepping underneath, keeping calm, and consistently, switching right. It's just playing off for him, isn't it?
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job here. Huge combo coming out with the Vengeance there as well for the NAD.
But saying that, though, obviously Vengeance, yeah, it is so helpful. And now, Mika deciding to put on the Ring of Suffering. He didn't put it on before. I'm not too sure why he did that, because Ven has had the Ring of Suffering the whole way through, and he's using the Seer's Ring instead, I believe is what he's got, from his YouTube videos at least, to have that major attack bonus to ensure that all these freezes do count and they do hit. And now Ven is out of food with 74 hit points, Mika with around 95 with the sharks included. So it's neck and neck. Anything could happen here. It depends how these different opponents outsmart each other and what they can hit.
You can see Mika is deliberately sitting on lower HP right now. He doesn't want to use those last 2 sharks because it completely gets rid of his.
Oh my god, he might die.
With Varax.
He's going to die.
No.
I think this is the end for Mika.
49 HP. Oh, so close. Good
well
fight,
played,
says. Respectful.
Good fight.
And the other fight going on right now is
now
back
again,
to
we have
Rinia
a
versus
player
Jats.
likely in Rot here and a player potentially
Rinia's pulled out the SGS as a fakie there.
Unfortunately, hitting a 0 though when he went for the spec, which really sucks for him because now he only has 1 shark and 1 Karambwan left, whereas Jads has 4
that
sharks.
could have killed him there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jad just barraged on the same tick as Rinia casted a Vengeance. The spell did a massive amount of damage, obviously inflicting that straight back on him. And on the tick after, he whipped Jad, and I think Jad was on about 27 HP. Could have died to that. Fortunately, RNG coming into his favor.
Obviously, Jad now has 2 sharks remaining, entries 40 HP, so overall 107 versus 71. Rinia right now is going to have to get some constant hits through the right prayers, which he's doing. The range hits. Jad's still protecting melee and somehow tanking it constantly. So many hits tanked, but he's changing his prayers now, and the God Sword hitting a 0. God Sword, very slow weapon as well.
Hitting a 0 right there off prayer is incredibly unlucky for Rinia. He's getting desperate now. He's completely out of food. You can see him putting out the God Sword all the time.
And the poison also.
The fighters came up so even now, and I think with the higher DPS potential of the SGS, Rinia might have a chance of taking this.
I mean, right down now to the wire, 42 versus 37 HP. Both players don't have enough special attacks to be able to do anything with it.
Not forgetting, however,
but there's the 0-0, 35 versus 39. And he could have killed him there. Rinia can hit 39 HP with the God Sword easily.
Still poking the DDS. Something's wrong, surely.
I'm not too sure, but the Vengeance here really making a difference. Can he get the bolt off? Oh my gosh, it's so close. But Rinia's getting the first hit in here. Oh my god, neck and neck.
It's a 2 HP.
Oh wow. And now Rinia is getting the first hit. Jad's first. Jad's first. The 0. Jad's not a hit first. Got a chance. 0.
Yes,
oh my god.
1 HP versus 2 HP.
No
the zeros are coming in.
The poison's about to hit. Oh my god. Wow.
Rinia
was so close.
Double death, but the first hit came from Rinia in that moment. Incredible to watch. Ooh. However, I do want to just point out, Rinia still had super restores left. He could have just used redemption.
Could have
that was a $10,000 fight.
That
was a $10,000 fight.
$10,000 fight coming down to 3 HP combined.
Oh my gosh.
Dying at the same time. That's horrible.
And the same with Mika too. I think there was like 20, 30 HP in it at the end.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way, and that's what makes this finale so enjoyable. It's so thrilling and so neck and neck right up until the end.
I think one of the most notable things in that fight between Mika right at the end there. He was on the, he was taking advantage. He was in the driver's seat of that fight. He was constantly utilizing the freeze and stand under that we see constantly with the Tribrids in the game that know what they're doing. He's remained composed. He had 2 sharks, and he was just trying to maximize his damage per second on his opponent. At the point whereby he had to eat those sharks, he actually stood out. His opponent casted Vengeance, recoiled the damage straight back onto himself. Unfortunately for Mika, he hit massive, put him in a position whereby he had to eat those sharks. He lost out on the DPS, and he got comboed twice straight after, which completely just... That was it for him.
I thought he was going to take it personally.
I did as well.
I have a quick update for us, guys. So as we've said, our anti-cheating team has been looking into all of these guys, and we're happy to confirm that both of these two players are absolutely genuine and legitimate players, so we don't need to actually do the extra check into their accounts. So you have to appreciate seeing players of this caliber playing fairly, and one of them is going to win $20,000 because of it.
Have we had confirmation of if they're actually if Rinia's in ROTS and if the other clan is with any team whatsoever, or if he's a solo player that's made it all the way through the 1v1 stages?
Well, we don't have confirmation. We have suspicion that Zenedrag is...
Of course, Fools, or Finish
Fools.
at least.
Jad, we believe, was Fools. Rynia likely to be in ROT.
So
Again, we don't know because we have to speak to these guys individually, so we're going to speak to them after the tournament, of course.
Could well be the case where it's the two big titans of the clanning world, Fools versus ROT, coming up against each other for the past 10
perfect storyline.
I know.
The
For the
perfect
past
storyline.
10 plus years, they fought each other consistently in clan fights, with clan wars, in the wilderness, and there's a big feud between them, a big rivalry like any clan, any competitive scene. So everything's up for grabs here. I mean, $24,000 is, but above that, it's which clan, will take home the demo mode tournament prize and say to themselves, we beat you.
It's the pride as well.
It's the pride, isn't it? Yeah.
What this comes down to, in my opinion, is all nerves. I have been in a few situations, nothing even close to this, but when you have people watch you play, it is so difficult to perform well.
It changes everything.
Right? When you have however many tens of thousands of people we have watching right now, these guys know so much pressure is on them. They're going to mess up their clicks, their switches. They're going to look like they aren't the experienced PKers that they are, but potentially one of them will remain calm. I think that's going to be the player to walk away with 20 grand.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important as well. When you considering the fact that we were talking earlier about switches and game ticks, we're talking people have to make multiple actions within 0.6 seconds. And if you've got a little bit of nerves about you and you misclick, that could be the difference. Yeah, so that could be your shark. And we've seen how close these fights get to.
So who's your money on with what we've seen so far?
I think whoever's got that Verax.
Yeah,
if
so
one of those
the
players,
Fools member, I believe it was, not Rinia, but the other guy.
Yeah, if he grabs the Verax, I think that's going to take it.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a smart strategy.
Verax versus SGS, I mean,
I think
both got their kind of important factors in them.
I think Rynia's going to take it, just from what I've seen in terms of the fights going forward. But honestly, I'm not 100% on that, but just from what I've seen, I think that's going to happen. So the great thing about Verax is that obviously it rips through defense. But if they're not using the highest amount of defense gear, and if they're not using Protect from melee, they could have done far more DPS if they were using a whip with a defender.
Very true. Very good point.
Whilst it has its advantages, it also brings disadvantages. They're going to be very susceptible to magic damage at that time. So if they're using hybrid, if he's going to be utilizing his attack smartly, I think that's going to make the difference.
I think the assumption is at this level of the tournament, when it's the final 1v1, is that both hybrids or both PKs at the end are very competent and will both be able to prayer flick or change their prayers and armor accordingly.
Yeah.
So
there's not much skill gap in it, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
And so things like gear advantages such as the Verac is what it comes down to, or the Ring of Suffering, for example, too.
I think I'm going to go ahead and say Verax trumps this one. Verax trumps the SGS in this one. I think Renia's fallen.
It's such a smart strategy, and I'm so shocked to see only one person can bring it in at the final 128.
Well, we're about to find out here. A few more
Here we
seconds.
go, guys. We're kicking off.
Jump back into it.
Final 1v1 of the Deadman Spring Finale. $20,000 to the winner, $10,000 to second place. This is a life-changing fight.
And straight off the bat, the decision to use your special attacks so they can regenerate throughout the fight is absolutely crucial. And also, obviously, doing damage right at the start to make the other opponent have to constantly defend and have to eat food and have to be on the backbone, having to catch up, is absolutely crucial in this strategy. So currently, the full Verax has quite a good advantage off to a really good start.
Yeah, I mean, they've both dumped, like you said, they've both dumped the DDS spec straight off the bat, making sure they're going to regenerate.
No, Rinia has full spec still. He's got the SGS.
Oh, sorry. I can't really see the name, but Rinia's opponent has dumped his DDS specs. He did it on Prey Melee, so it's obviously not going to do that much damage, but he has the ability for it to regenerate throughout the fight. We can see that the Verax is doing a lot of damage off the bat. It's doing significant work.
This is the perfect Deadman setup. If I could buy any gear in Deadman and compete in the finale, you go for Verax, you go for a DFS switch, the offhand to play defensively. You go for Vengeance?
Look at the damage.
I'm just so impressed by the Vereka right now. Every single time Rini has gone for a switch, apart from just there. Actually, no, that was decisive. He decided not to change his prayers. The Vengeance would come up. He could do a lot of damage. He's been doing so well, catching every prayer right. Rini just cannot keep up. And currently, the Vereka has a lot of supplies left comparatively.
It's a very one-sided fight. I did think at the start of this, for completely forgetting that we're using Vengeance, that's going to make all of the difference again because he doesn't have any way to retaliate with magic. And he's stacked now. He's got Verax, high defense gear with very good prayer bonus. He's going to be able to outlast and not have to use as many restores. He's also got the DFS. That's by default. Extra defense, extra strength.
Yeah.
He's doing so well right now.
If you're looking to compete in a future Deadman, at this point, it's like everybody's going to want Verax. Everybody's going to be at Barrows all day, every day. You're probably going to see many more sets of Verax in the next finale.
He just ripped a 35 through Protect from
and
melee.
a 27 back-to-back.
It's crazy. You can see, and
oh my
more
God,
damage the combo. That could have KO'd him. The combos that we're seeing, again, this is a 1 in 4 chance of the Verax set effect to ignore defensive bonuses and protection.
And he's
prayers.
just keeping calm, you know, standing still, waiting, putting up the Venge the right ticks, making sure he has the wrong prayer up, actually, you know, on purpose so they can make this fight a bit quicker. But the 29 SGS through prayer coming in, that helps a lot. Obviously, healing HP, healing prayer could make a difference. Needs a comeback. Currently, free food versus free food, but the Vereka has his 3 brew doses left, which is a huge difference.
He's doing a lot of damage now. This fight was
this is
one-sided.
really good turned around.
Rania might win this.
There was a very good Onyx Bolt spec that's healed him up, as well as that SGS. It didn't hit very much, but it's enough to get him full prayer, full HP. He's not going to have to touch any food, all those restores, whereas then he has 1 Shark left and 3 doses of Super Restore, 1 Korambuan.
Neither player have any brews left, so they're both working on food. 3 food versus 2 food, obviously, in terms of how much healing potential there is. Rini is winning in that department. However, he is quite low HP, and hopefully we can see some combos come out
It's literally the same HP, 88 versus 88. I'm pretty
Then he's now out of food. It's 1 Shark against no Shark.
They have the if he eats the Shark. Oh my gosh!
He's just DFS
That could be it. That could be the deciding factor.
And the 35 back-to-back as well. He's taking it home right now. The 13 through prayer once again.
Rini is desperate now. He's praying protect from. He's praying the hard prayer, trying to redeem his HP off his prayer points right now. And the Vengeance also taking the win. And it was a full win.
It is a player in full.
Finish, take it home right now, and they get to have their party in the mansion. They're going to rent with the prize money and have a great time doing
that
so.
That got so close at the end.
How fast did that just turn around?
That was so close. You were saying it was a one-sided fight. Next thing I know, I look at the screen,
he's done.
And they're both consumed pretty much all their food. Fortunately, right at the end there, he managed to take it.
So back and forth.
Hey, what? Nerves of steel though.
And in all of their fights leading up to it, apart from a couple, we're very close.
Oh, the fireworks. Lovely.
A lovely little celebration at the end.
This means that, without need for further confirmation, we can confirm that Venadreg was his name. The player for Fools has just won the Deadman Spring 2018 finale.
Incredible.
$20,000.
Congratulations.
A round of applause.
Big win for Fools on that one for sure. I may have been wrong coming into who would win that final fight, but I said from the start, throughout, Fools had this one in the bag.
The whole week we've seen them absolutely dominating, locking down certain pieces of content, whether that's Monkey Madness, whether that's Monkey Madness 2 as well, to get the sufferings that really made the difference. And the choice to use full Verax there was so smart, and it really paid off for them.
Yeah. And this is the first tournament for Fools to take. Last time we saw Meg win it as a bit more of a solo player playing with some friends. This time, finally, Fools able to defeat Rot in the finale. Rot winning Deadman, of course, in the past. Looking forward to seeing the next one. I actually wish the next one was coming up very soon.
It was
3 months.
It was a perfect storyline to play into
the
that
face of
finale.
Book right there. He is speaking to his mates. He is buzzing.
He's so happy.
But the great thing is, though, not only have they managed to lock down certain areas, they had great, strong tactics and team play throughout the entire 8 days of the tournament, but they brought a new meta. They have demolished the ranged tank meta by bringing Verax. Something as simple as 4 pieces of gear has won them $20,000.
It was a surprise to me when I spoke to a lot of the members of Blazers and speaking to Mankt about the Verax method. They tested it for hours and hours and hours, saying that they've tried against obviously their best PvPers, against full tribrid setups, and that like 95% of the time the Verax would prevail and it would come out and win. And you know, I was kind of skeptical. And I was like, I don't know about that one, Mank. And then obviously watching it, fair play. He wasn't wrong, was he?
Well, as I say, the proof's in the pudding, and we've seen it right there on screen in front of our eyes.
A lot of the content creators are doing really well here, actually. Getting this far. We saw Curtis get into the 1v1 area. We saw Graphist as well, Dialect Cookie right here, unfortunately going down in the first round. But they put up a fight. They came out here today to have some fun, to do some content, and just enjoy themselves. And I implore everyone to get involved in the next season and join in, even if you're just playing for the survival aspect, not necessarily to take home any money. It's still so fun and so thrilling to do.
And the great thing about the seasonal that will be, by the way, if we haven't said it enough times already, starting as soon as we finish here, we'll let you know as soon as the servers go live. We'll jump over in camera as well if we're possible to. But seasonal, it's not all about the strategy that you see within the tournaments. It's more about having fun. Of course, there's strategy. There are people that dedicate a lot of time to it, and people want to qualify for the tournament. But ultimately, you could go together with a group of 3 of your friends, maybe even just 2 of you, and that's a formidable force. There's so many people involved in the seasonals that are just playing for fun.
Even as a solo player as well, we have a PJ timer mechanic that's now introduced. So that if you are solo, you can go around by yourself. You don't need backup. You can just enjoy it by yourself. But obviously, these fights were so nail-biting, so gripping the whole way through.
Every single one of them just comes down to either the final piece of food or no food at all.
Yeah.
So a few things just to note with the seasonal. I'll try and remember as many changes as possible, but we were talking about solo players there and just aiding new players in general. One of the big changes that we'll be doing as part of the new seasonal is introducing for everyone starter packs that you can claim daily. Within those starter packs, you're going to get a magic staff, a bow, and a equivalent, I believe, of a mithril scimitar that you can wield at level 1 attack.
From the start.
They're not going to be available in PvP. I think we're going to go over to Chris now, who is interviewing the players.
Hey guys, I'm joined here with the on-stage players, notably Bwaka and PB, the representative for Fools. Now, Bwak, you unfortunately fell a little bit early. Now, your friend went on to win it. Are you on comms with these guys? Are you on Discord? What were they like when they won?
Yeah, I was talking to like few of them on Discord, and most of them were on TeamSpeak, and I couldn't use it, so I'm not like with all the hype and stuff.
And what does this win mean for Fools?
Well, we have played like 5 DMM tourneys, and this is the one we won. So we have tried hard, and finally, yeah.
Well, well done to you and the rest of Fools. Going forward in the next Deadman, Rot, Lit, all those other clans will be back trying to take that title. Are you going to be looking to defend it and win the Deadman Summer Finale?
Yeah, we sure are.
All right, well, best of luck to you in the next finale. Thank you so much for playing on stage. We really appreciate you joining us. And good luck in the next season. Curtis, you did really well. You provided an excellent show, an entertainer at nature. How did the tournament go for you?
Way better than I expected. My goal for this tournament was to get into the 1v1s, and we achieved that. I'd like to give a shout out to Lit and the Alliance for getting me that far. Really good fight against Black as well. I was undergeared and had less supplies, but I nearly brought it back, and I was very, very proud. And I think everybody else was as well.
The next season, I can't even get over this. This is crazy. You did so well this tournament. The next season, we have something a bit more appealing to you as an Iron Man. No swapping, right? No muling. Do you feel like you're going to be better next season? Is this your season?
I think this is definitely going to be one of my seasons. I can actually, probably afford brews this time instead of bringing in Dark Crabs. So I think I'm going to enjoy this one a lot more in terms of an even playing field.
All right. Well, best of luck to you again. Thank you so much for playing on stage. Always a good time. Manked, the Deadman winner, or the ex-Deadman winner. I'm so sorry to take that title away from you. How heartbroken are you?
I did better than I thought I would, so I'm happy with the outcome, So close to getting to 1v1, so I'm happy with it all,
You did really well. You consistently do well every Deadman. Arguably one of the best Deadman players in the world. You have nothing to be ashamed of course. Now, if you could make it into that 128, do you think you could have won that?
I think so, yeah. The Varax is very strong, but I think I could have beaten it somehow. But time will tell. In the future, I might face it, so we'll see.
Now, we've seen some really incredible Deadman streams from you this past week. Are you looking to play the next season, and are you looking to stream it?
Yes, and I'll be getting revenge on every single person that bolted me right at the end there, so good luck to everyone.
All right, well, looking forward to seeing what you can do in the next season. Good luck, Manked. Let's join our casters back on the stage and talk about the next season, guys. So, don't need this anymore.
Yeah,
next season is going live any moment now, right? we have some really, really big changes.
Yeah, Ben was just talking about that. We're seeing some of the most significant changes out of all seasonal this time, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, you've already mentioned the removal of swapping and muling. Anyone that is caught doing either of those will be disqualified from Deadman. Banned accounts, unfortunately. Don't do it, guys. It's not worth it. But other than that, content changes. We're looking at NPC-wide, like game-wide NPC drop tables, completely revamped. So we're going to be looking at supplies, potions, food, runes, all being dropping from any NPC. It's going to range varied on your the enemy's combat level. Lower level NPCs, much lower chance. Higher level NPCs, much higher chance. And bosses have an even higher chance than that. Superior Slayer monsters guaranteed to hit this extra drop table. So one of the things we've always heard about is that supplies, they come in too slow. People don't want to have to focus necessarily on skilling within Deadman. The whole point, as you've seen throughout this tournament, is to kill people. And we want people to be able to go out there and have as much fun as possible. If there's way too many potions in the game, what does it matter? As long as people are out there killing, you're still going to be looking for the armor, for the weapons, for all of the extra utilities.
At the same time, even if you don't want to PK, you can play Deadman mode as a survival-based game. You know, obviously, it's pardon?
Yeah, that's going to be me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a new, fresh server, a new economy. You have an XP cap every day, so you can log on, catch up with everyone else.
Yeah,
no one can get too far ahead. You can play casually if you want to, and just enjoy it, because there's nothing like the beginning, starting from scratch again, competing with everyone, racing to get, like Tovesh said in his video, the 10k from the stronghold or elsewhere, and trying to get the starter kit. I believe is probably the meta now. Going to Lumbridge, a 30-minute server immunity is going to be applied to the game. So once you log in, you've got 30 minutes.
Every single player.
Every single player.
Even if you start playing Deadman tomorrow,
there we go. So you've got 30 minutes to grab your stuff, start leveling up, get some money together, so you can start getting the all-important supplies to either survive or start killing people, which is what it's all about.
So with Deadman, as you know, we could easily just leave it be, let it run its course, and players will enjoy it. But we want to consistently improve. We want to make something better every single time. We don't want to make you watch the same thing or play the same thing season in, season out, right? So what we did is we got in a call with some of our best Deadman players in the know, one of them being Ian, and you were able to help contribute to the next season.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things was those resources coming into the game.
Definitely, it'll change the whole atmosphere altogether. The economy, obviously, that any PK or all player needs is like, if you want to get supplies to be able to train efficiently or to get the weapons that will give you the advantage over other players, it's usually impossible to get them because everyone wants them really, no one wants to go do the boring skilling stuff. But now that you've, as you said before, triple fish, I think, when you start fishing, you've got multiple, the runes also in the shops are also more obtainable now. Things like the Tome of Fire have got lower drop rates. You guys have done a phenomenal job, and hopefully, like you said, we'll see consistent improvements for the next constant seasons, and it just gets bigger and better every time.
It's a tough job balancing feedback with Deadman. We have one end of players like people like Mech Mage and all these guys on the stage, and the people that made it into the top 128. These are the veteran Deadman players. They all want a certain version of Deadman. Then we have the tens of thousands of other players who can't quite play at that level, but still want to enjoy it. For those players, we introduced the cap for everybody. We have 500k XP cap a day. Magic, we've actually just increased to 750k, so new meta's in there. But essentially, if you want to play the next season, you don't have to play for 12 hours a day.
No.
You can if you want to. It'll help you. You'll make some extra money. You'll train your other stats. But if you want to just play for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, hit your caps, have your fun, call it a day, you can still compete on a reasonable level.
And then obviously if you get into the top 2,000 during this season on the high scores, you could be competing for a chance for $20,000 as well. And we could be shouting your name from the stage.
Imagine. So, all you need is a set of barracks.
All you need is a set of barracks, and a ring of suffering.
And to clarify, again with the rules, with banning swapping and muling, this means that essentially players will have to make their own money. If you want to play Deadman, this is the fairest season we've ever had. You're not looking at any disadvantages to anybody who has money in old school and tries to swap over. You've got to make it yourself.
One of the biggest concerns about those changes, obviously, a lot of people were criticizing it, saying, you know, if you completely eliminate swapping in Deadman mode, then you're going to get rid of all the people that bring in the resources and the supplies to the game because they do it to swap. And then you face this huge problem of everything being like super expensive and people won't be able to afford to PK. But obviously the changes that you made to the drop table was to counter that out and balance everything. And I think you've done a great job. I'm looking to see how that goes forward. Like you said, it's going to be one of the fairest seasons, probably the fairest season. It doesn't benefit you having money in the actual
Are you
server.
Playing then?
Yeah, I am.
I'm playing the next
forward
season.
to playing again.
I'm playing the next season. I can't compete because it would be weird if I handed myself the trophy and the 20 grand. You know, that would be all right. But I'm going to play.
Yeah, I would love it though, wouldn't
Play on mobile, Chris. Instead of having your notes, just bam. You might be able to win on stage.
If somebody runs into me in Deadman, just,
Do you know what's
We
so
might have
great is
to-
like just seeing the level of excitement in everyone's face when we talk about the Deadman season changes that are coming up. But to me, I still feel like we're just touching the surface. There's so much more that we can do.
Definitely.
Old School in itself is a game that's driven by the community and by community feedback and what the people want. Deadman is the exact same thing. We go to the community, we listen to them. What changes do you want? Okay, we see that you're not too happy with it being the same as before. Let's do something completely new. This is the first time that we've really gone out of our way to shift the meta up completely. This is like new strategy level. What can we do next?
Yep.
What is going to be next? What's the next season going to offer? And that's the best thing for me about Deadman is just that, just like that, we can change it.
And as we said, we are only growing Old School as a game. We are literally just doing this, right? We have so many new players coming into the game every single day, and a lot of them watching Deadman we've seen have no idea what they're looking at. We need to better that. We need to allow them to get into the next season, noob or not. We're going to give them starter packs. Now these are going to help newer players, of course, as we mentioned, magic range and melee packs to help you train throughout the day. But eventually you'll get to the point where you'll learn, you'll follow maybe some guides on YouTube, watch your favorite streamers, just play the game mode. And eventually you won't need to collect those. You can be out there on your own, killing bosses, and out there, you might even make it in the top 2,000, you might even win them.
It's hard for us to really put across how amazing and how different demo mode is from the original game, because you've got Old School RuneScape, which is a very traditional, grindy MMO, but demo mode increases the experience rate, takes a lot of that boring training out of it, and you just get straight into the action, and that's what it's all about. So actually
looking
right
behind
now,
us now, yeah, the Deadman season, summer season is actually live. I'm not going to look behind because I'll end up cranking my neck. But as you can see here, a lot of people, there's a swarm of people going towards
all
the Security
trying to get
Stronghold.
their 10,000
Here we go.
Yeah.
GP. All looking the same. They wanted to get out of Tutorial Island as fast as possible.
Get that advantage. I want to see Lumbridge as well, where the training packs are. Look at the heat map. Oh wow, so still, a lot of people on Tutorial Island still stuck trying to get through it.
Very early hours, very early minutes of the server, and you can see like a trail of people that are running
So
straight
yeah,
away
you
towards.
can see, you've got the people in Tutorial Island, you've got the people in Varrock that are running west to get themselves the 10k, you've got the people in the southeast Varrock training their thieving up to get their teas.
You've got Gnome Stronghold, everyone's running agility off the bat.
They're all running
all
along the
around
logs.
map.
Now is the time to log in. If you're a viewer wondering if you want to play the next season, play day one. You won't regret it. We do have 6 hour immunity coming in a week, which will help you out a lot. If you can't afford to play right now, that's perfectly fine. But right now, you have 30 minutes immunity. Nobody can attack you. Run around, collect your 10k, maybe kill some monsters in the dangerous zone, get your starter packs.
Another thing to mention is there are safe zones too. It's not dangerous everywhere. If you're in a main city or town, such as Varrock, such as Lumbridge, and certain banks, then you will be safe and immune from being attacked, unless you're in the wrong position in the bank and they can get you from outside. So just be aware of that and be careful.
If you are completely new to Deadman and you want to see all of the rules, there has been a lot of things going on. This has been going on for a couple of years now. We've obviously made huge amounts of changes. The link that's being displayed on the screen right now, osrs.game/play. It's going to tell you a little bit of how to get involved with Deadman. There's also a news page on our main website that you can check all of the changes on as well.
In addition to that, as we've mentioned earlier, we're going to be hosting Robert, or our Robert, one of the most popular Deadman creators. As soon as we finish this stream, he's going to be jumping in. He's probably already in there playing Deadman.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
if you need some helpful tips, just follow this guy.
Yeah, I mean, like this week, for example, he works full-time now. He's played every single season demo mode tournament, and he took a week off work so he could spend every day grinding to get as far as he possibly could. Unfortunately, didn't make it into the 1v1 round, but regardless, I'm sure he had a great time, and he's going to really appreciate you guys going over and saying hello, because he's a lovely, lovely guy.
Yeah.
And it's important, you know, everyone that streams on Twitch is probably one of the best ways to learn about the game. What's so great, right, about the era that we're in at the moment with online gaming and the availability of streams. Go check out the RuneScape directory, see your favorite streamer on there. The chances are they're doing Deadman season, and if they're not, you should probably say, well, aren't you doing Deadman season? Because these changes are lit.
Unless they don't want to play Deadman. I mean,
everyone should want to play Deadman.
I'm not even kidding. I'm playing the next season. I want to learn as much as possible from it, figure out what people are complaining about, what they're not complaining about, better this season as much as possible.
That's awesome.
Old School is all about community feedback. They have entirely designed this game mode and this tournament, and next tournament is only going to be better.
Will we see some videos from you, Chris?
I might.
On Deadman mode?
I
would love to see some.
DDS go, baby.
The Robert strategy coming in.
I'm a little worried because if I leak my name playing Deadman, are people going to be scared to kill me because I'm a J-mod, or will they hunt me even more?
Probably.
I would definitely hunt you. I think I might actually. I think I'm going to start playing this season just so that I can annoy you.
No, that's what I want to see. I want to see an Iasa versus Chris Archie finale. That'd be amazing.
Let's make it happen.
Right. Well, that being said, guys, I think it's about time for our closing words. So it's been an incredible finale. As always, the 1v1 could not have been more perfect. So close, so clutch. Fools taking home their first ever Deadman victory. $20,000 going to them. It was $10,000, I believe, going to Rot in second place. Nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
An incredible performance by the players on stage for us. And as always, it's been great.
Yeah, all those fights coming down to the wire. My prediction.
Well, the Verax coming into play.
It came true.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to say
So
also
I'm very happy about that.
to everyone at home as well that's tuned in and watched this exciting finale, because it's just so much fun and it's such a big deal for so many people. So yeah, thank everyone that's tuned in and
our beautiful
supported.
audience
and everyone here today as
ESL,
well.
guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Woo! Give it up. These guys, we do this tournament here in Leicester in ESL's UK studio every time just about, and these guys come back every time. They have such a great time. We give them merch. They love it. They watch everybody on stage. They're so loud and passionate. We really do appreciate you guys. In final words, guys, the next season is now live. Now is the best time to ever be playing Deadman. If you're thinking about it, give it a shot, right? And that being said, yeah, don't go anywhere. We're hosting Robert. He'll be taking you through the next season if you need any tips. And I think that's all we have to say.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Thank you very much, guys. This concludes the Deadman Spring Finale 2018.